All right, that's a little better. Okay. Let's see. I think we're good now. All right. Apologies for the delay. Let me let our Discord know. And then we'll get this thing off and running. All right. Got this finally figured out. Shut this down. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Facemask Fantasies Week 10 Start Sit Show. John is off today. He's off this weekend. He will be back on Tuesday for our waiver show, but I got you guys today for as many times as for as much help as you guys might potentially need today. Then there is the international game tomorrow. I think it's the final international game of the season, the Munich game between the Seahawks and the Buccaneers. So probably no stream tomorrow. I can be available in the Discord for any start sit help, but obviously we'll free up that time slot so that everybody can watch the game. And I'll still make a point to be available in Discord for start sit questions during the game if you guys need it. So if you're not a member of our Discord yet, third link in the description of this video. I don't know why it's still the third link. It should just be the second link, because the second link is the draft kit, and you guys don't need that anymore. Actually, let me format's a little funky about this description. There we go. But what's going on, everybody? Hopefully everybody's having a good weekend so far. John, JP, Theo, good to see all you guys. Happy to kick this off with questions for tomorrow. Obviously, the big news going into tomorrow is the availability of Josh Allen, Bills quarterback Josh Allen. He didn't practice on Wednesday and Thursday. He got, I think, a limited session in on Friday. It was reported today by Ian Rappaport that Allen is able to grip the football. He's expected to play tomorrow against the Vikings. A lot of the injury analysts and injury experts were expecting that Allen would miss this week, but he's going to apparently give it a go. The concern, of course, being, does he re-aggravate the injury in any way? Does he potentially set himself up for a larger setback tomorrow? So that's a concern that we'll obviously have to keep an eye on throughout the game. And of course, anything that happens after the game, we'll keep an eye on Josh Allen. That's the big news for tomorrow. What else do we have going on? The Raiders, of course, have, that they got a bunch of stuff going on. Darren Waller to injured reserve, Hunter Renfrow to injured reserve. So Foster Moreau and Matt Collins we'll see an uptick in usage and work. Malcolm Brown was waived by the Rams. Kyren Williams was officially activated. So we'll see how that backfield shakes up. Whoever gets the first snap tomorrow, that'll be telling. If it's Henderson again, then maybe they're not quite ready to put Kyren Williams in there at as far as a larger role. But if Kyren Williams gets the first snap for the Rams tomorrow, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there and how that develops. So we'll see about that. But plenty of storylines going into tomorrow. happy to help out anybody who's going through some start-sit decisions. So let's kick this off. Theo, hey man, if you're a part of a rebuild, if you're middle of the rebuild, and I know you've got a lot of picks moving forward this year and I think next year. Hey, if you're ahead of schedule, then you're ahead of schedule, man. I'd rather be winning sooner than later with with young pieces and plenty of young picks or young players to potentially add to my talent pool this year than be worse than I expected just for the potential to draft Bijan Robinson. I mean, yes, Bijan is one of probably the most highly touted prospects in recent memory. He looks spectacular. He's like got 7 or 8 100 straight 100-yard rushing games for Texas this year. He looks unbelievable. But hey, if you're winning games now and you're still going to have the opportunity to add more pieces, plenty of pieces with all the 23 picks you've accumulated, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. And JP, I know you took, you had a big trade in your league. Look, I do not care about the opinions of other people in my league when they are not the ones involved in a trade. As long as it's not collusion, if two people come to an agreement in a trade, those are the only two people who matter, as long as it's not collusion. I don't believe in leagues that veto trades or leave trades up to the public, like the public, or when I say the public, I mean the rest of the league has the opportunity to weigh in on it. They should have no say. Those are, I mean, no disrespect to anybody. However you like to, whatever leagues you like to play in is your prerogative, but that's Bush League to me. If I come to an agreement with somebody, if two people come to an agreement on a trade, you know what you're getting. You know what you're signing up for. Both sides like the side that they are getting. That's all that matters. If somebody makes a bad move, let them make a bad move. It's a learning experience at worst. I don't care about the opinions of other people in my league. If they don't like a trade that I made, well, then they can go make trades themselves. Don't care. Don't care. As far as trading Brady and Pickens for Burrow and Renfro, I don't, if you gotta, man, if you have to make extra moves just so that something gets vetoed, sounds like a league that you should leave. And if these are your friends, it's like, hey, it's nothing personal, but you guys are annoying when it comes to fantasy football. It's supposed to be fun. If you guys are dictating the way that I feel like I should, how I feel like I can operate, leave the league. Leave the league. There are tons of great opportunities to join leagues in the offseason, either through Reddit or Twitter. Social media is actually, it can be a bit of a cesspool sometimes, but it's actually great for finding like-minded people and setting leagues up. John and I have a joint league together on Sleeper that he found through Reddit. We co-manage a dynasty team with a bunch of random people that we found on Reddit. It's the most active league I'm in. Nobody's an asshole to each other. People are fine with the trades that happen. It's dynasty, so obviously you're going to see a little bit more buy-sell. But if I'm in a league where I feel like I'm at the mercy of what everybody else wants me to do, I'm gone. I'm out. Like, see you later. See you never. And even if it's all my good friends, I'll be good friends with you guys outside of fantasy football. I would leave that league. I would leave that league. But sure, if you can get Burrow for Brady and Pickens, I guess that's fine. Renfro's an IR throwaway at this point, So if you can make it happen, great. If not, who cares? Admittedly, and if these guys are your friends, I'm sure they're good people. But if they're gonna do this type of stuff in fantasy, I don't want to play. I don't want to play with them. I don't want to play with you guys. I'll find a bunch of random people through Reddit, the fantasy football Reddit topic. You just go in there. You can find random people. You set up a league. There's a good chance you'll find good people. That's where I'm at. JML Sports. Choosing one between Dylan, Dotson, Gallup, or Zay Jones. I'd probably go Gallup. I want to say Dylan. He has been a little bit better at home, but, he's topping out at 7 or 8 half PPR points per week. That's about as, boring and blah as it gets. If you can get away with what you think, if you can get away with like a 7 or 8 point week from your RB2 or your flex or whatever it is, then fine. But I'd probably go Gallup with the Cowboys coming out of their bye week. They're on the road against Green Bay. Green Bay has lost multiple pieces on defense just from this past week. And Gallup is another week removed in his return from the torn ACL. Had a week off to rest with the Cowboys bye week 9. I would probably lean Gallup. Dotson, I need to see Dotson for a week. And with Taylor Heineke. Dotson did well with Carson Wentz. Let's see how he does in his first game back with Heineke before we fire him up. Zay Jones, Zay Jones is too tough to trust. He could give you 15. He could also give you 3. So I would probably lean Gallup there. Like what do we have from Zay last week? Just out of curiosity here. It is a good matchup against Kansas City. All right. He had 9. This is full. He had 5 for 40. I mean, like Zay Jones is like the AJ Dillon of wide receivers, man. I'll play Gallup and hope for a little bit of upside. What's up, Senor Rojo? You got to pick between Eno, Kadarius Toney, Pacheco, and James Cook. Is Mecole officially ruled out? He didn't practice all this week. The original report was he was going to try to play through it. Oh, no. Okay. No, he's ruled out. I don't trust Kadarius Toney. If you need 2 from this group, there's a little bit of potential with Pacheco tomorrow. I personally think. There's a little bit of a potential with Pacheco. Because they're playing Jacksonville. And I expect the Chiefs, candidly, sorry, Jacksonville, I expect Kansas City to blow them out. I don't expect Kansas City to have much of an issue handling their business against Jacksonville. If that's the case, Pacheco's going to be in line for mop-up duty. I'll take a chance on Pacheco from this group. And I guess I'll take a chance. I guess I'll take a chance on James Cook. Benjamin is like totally relegated when James Conner is healthy, and I think James Conner is off the injury report. He is. Plus, it's a tough matchup by the numbers. And Kadarius Toney, I gotta see literally anything first. I have to see literally anything. He caught 2 balls for 12 yards last week. I guess he's in line for an expanded role. But I have not seen enough from Kadarius Toney to feel good about firing him up, even when it's from a collection of hodgepodge options. I think I'm going Pacheco and James Cook here. I don't feel great about James Cook. I don't feel great about any of these guys, but I guess I'll lean on some running backs. Maybe the Bills run the ball a little bit more tomorrow with Allen's arm potentially bothering him. Maybe James Cook gets in there a little bit more, and maybe Pacheco gets in there for mop-up duty against Jacksonville. So I would take the latter 2. And if that includes Rachaad White, then fine, play those 3. If you have to sit one, I guess I would sit James Cook. So I'd play those running backs. So Pacheco, James Cook, Rachaad White. Roll the dice on those options. Mark, what's up, Mark? Start TJ Watt or TJ Edwards. I guess is Watt active? Is Watt cleared for tomorrow? Is he going to play? He is activated. I mean, if TJ Watt is active, I think you have to fire up TJ Watt. They're at home. The Steelers are desperate for a win. They're playing the Saints, who are on a short week, right? The Saints are kind of like, they kind of got the short end of the stick in this matchup, right? They have the Steelers coming off their bye week. The Saints played on Monday Night Football, and now they got to go on the road on a short week. So they're kind of up against it from the schedule perspective. I think I would. And plus, it's TJ Watt we're talking about. I think you got to play. I think you just got to roll the dice on TJ Watt. He's one of the best defensive players in the league. he might, even if he only plays like a handful of snaps, I think you need to roll the dice on your best option. What's up, Jawler? What do I think about Tony or sorry, Tony Warren as a deep play? You could try it. The Saints are I feel like the Saints are decent against the run. Um Although they will be without Lattimore once again this week. Um yeah, let me see. As a deep play, Warren could be fine. He has been the one. It's not Najee. He's the one who's ripping off big runs. Okay, it's like a middle of the pack average matchup by the numbers. I mean, he might give you 10 points, but he's got a floor of 1 or 2 points. So it depends on your risk tolerance and I guess of whatever your other options are. Um, the report is that the practice reps have not increased. Mark Cabali, one of the Steelers beat writers, said that like, any talk of him overtaking Najee Harris is silly. He still hasn't topped that. Week 5, he saw 50% of the snaps. I think that was a blowout for Pittsburgh. Other than that, he hasn't seen more than 30% of the snaps since week 1. It's a big time roll of the dice. He's an RB4. He's not an RB3. He's an RB4. You can try. But I guess it would depend on who your other options are. Would depend on who your other options are. Greg Z, what's going on? You can only start 2 of these options, Swift, Sanders, and Clyde. Yeah, I would do that. I would play Sanders and Clyde. Swift is hard to trust right now. He got 16% of the snaps last week. I think he's still he's going to play, but I think he still has the questionable tag. They took him off the injury report. Okay. But he's still nursing both the ankle and the shoulder injury. I would be proceeding with extreme caution with DeAndre Swift until he sees a larger complement of snaps. So Sanders definitely has to be in. The problem with Clyde is that Kansas City backfield is absolutely disgusting. It's a good matchup by the numbers, but 2 of the past 3 weeks, Clyde has bottomed out. Like last week, 4 carries, 5 yards, 1 catch, 14 yards. I guess he should do better than that tomorrow. Clyde is a floor play, Greg. Swift is a little bit more of a ceiling play. I may actually play Swift over Clyde and just hope for the best now that I think about it. I would play Swift and Sanders. John agrees. Yeah. Let's play Swift and Sanders. Hope that Swift is able to do a little something on at least 25 to 30% of the snaps. That's what we're hoping for at this point. Clyde, 2 of the past 3 weeks, hasn't given you anything. By the way, for those just joining us or having recently joined us, just remember, there is an international game tomorrow. There will not be a stream. I can help out in the Discord for any late start sit help, but get those international players into your position spots. Keep your flex spots open for players who are playing later in the later window on Sunday night, Monday night. Move your earlier players into your position slot. So if you're playing if you're taking shots on guys like Rachaad White, throw them into an RB slot. Move those players up out of your flex spots. Keep your flexibility open for as long as possible. Is Malik Davis worth a pickup? Theo, yeah, I mean, you could in a dynasty league, sure. Zeke is considered, I guess another game time call. It's possible he misses back-to-back weeks for the first time in his career. As a stash, sure. And then, of course, in dynasty, Zeke's shelf life, it's fair to start questioning when is that tank going to hit empty? Yeah, I mean, you can give him a shot. You can give him a look. I'm not expecting the world, though. If Zeke is ruled out, Tony Pollard gets everything. Tony Pollard gets all of it. But you can take, you can give a speculative ad to Malik Davis as long as you're not dropping anybody else who has maybe a little bit more long-term appeal. Yeah, JP, again, I don't believe in leagues where other league members are allowed to have a say in trades. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that shit at all. As long as there's no collusion, the only two people who matter as it pertains to a trade are the people who are involved in the trade, or three people, because on Sleeper, you can do 3-team trades. They make it very easy. Sleeper is the best platform. Move all of your fantasy leagues over to Sleeper. Get off Yahoo, get off ESPN, get off CBS, get off whatever server you use and go to Sleeper. One day they'll pay me for that. And you can do like 3-way, 4-way trades. It's awesome. But yeah, if people are going to feel like they have a say in the trades that you make, I'm leaving that league. Like, see you guys never. Jaller, as far as leagues for the server, so that is something that is a members only perk. One of the perks of becoming a member of the channel is that your membership would be your buy-in for Facemask Fantasy leagues that John and I would co-commission, again, obviously starting next year. We have 2 of them going right now. We have a standard 12-team. Is it 12? It's a standard 12-team league with 10 of our members, which is a lot of fun. Bragging rights, of course. The winner gets some merchandise from us on us. You will get a jersey of your choosing. If you win the league, you get any jersey you want. It doesn't even have to be football. It doesn't have to be a current player. It could be a basketball jersey if you want. It could be a player who's been retired for 20 years. It could be a soccer jersey, like whatever you want. Obviously, if you want a football jersey, then we'll make sure that we get you a football jersey. But that is one of the perks of being a member of the league or of the channel. You'll get to join leagues with us, and we'll commission them starting next year. The buy-in would, of course, be your membership. So if you're interested, or if anybody's interested, first link in the description of this video details some membership perks, which I think I have to update. CXK, what's going on? Good to see you. And Greg, you got another question for another league. 2 running backs, a wide receiver, and a flex. Well, you have to, Taylor's back in. Taylor's back in and off the injury report. You have to play Taylor. You're firing up Travis Etienne. A wide receiver and a flex. I'm going Olave over Terry McLaurin. As much as I like Terry, I'm going Olave. And the floor play is Fournette. The ceiling play is Jeff Wilson for your flex, Greg. Lenny's should be a fine floor play, even though it's been like pulling teeth with Lenny the past couple of weeks. That being said, I don't think he's getting usurped by Rachaad White just yet. I think he's going to get at least one more crack at being the dude for the Bucs. That being said, he is a little tough to trust. If you think you can stomach a 10-point play, potentially Lenny only getting you 10 points, then fine. Wilson offers maybe a little bit more upside. He got utilized in that Dolphins offense right away last week after the trade. You have to figure that he should have another opportunity to shoulder at least 50% of the work. And the Browns are terrible everywhere on defense. They're terrible everywhere. So Taylor, Etienne, Olave, Lenny's your floor play and your flex. Wilson is your ceiling play. And if you choose to play Lenny, put Lenny in one of those RB spots. Put Taylor in your flex. I always like putting I like, Thursday night, international games, 1 p.m. starts. I put those guys in their positional spots. I start flexing guys who play later. You never know what could happen. Maximize your flexibility throughout the weekend. Like my Monday night players are the guys in my flex every time. Or whatever it works. Penguin Master, if Kyler doesn't play, you have Kirk Cousins, so that's good. But if should you play Noah Fant if Kyler's out instead of Ertz? No. Ertz is a top 4 tight end on the season. Obviously, you don't feel as good about him if it's, Colt McCoy. The thing you have to remember with backup quarterbacks is they're more likely to check it down, to take the easy option. And Ertz probably presents that in the Cardinals offense. The short, intermediate throws that backup quarterbacks feel comfortable taking. Plus, Ertz is he's just a top 5 tight end on the season, top 4 tight end on the season. Even if Kyler can't go, you have to go with Ertz. You got to go with Ertz. Do I have a super? I do. Terrell, thank you so much. Appreciate the super. Very much so. Let's see. Sutton with Robinson, Slayton, Hollins, Tony, Jalen Warren, or Pacheco. Choose one. Slayton? I guess Slayton. Giants coming out of their bye week. Going up against Houston. Nothing scary about that matchup. Slayton has been the official wide receiver 1 for the Giants as far as snaps recently. The other guy who's getting all of the snaps on the outside for the Giants is Marcus Johnson, who is not making an impact in the box score. But Slayton, 74% of the snaps week 8, which was by far a season high. Since week 4, he's seen at least 55% of the snaps. So and it's gone up. Well, it went down week 7 to 57%, but 69% week 6, 60% week 4. So he's been out there at 60% of the time or more, 70% of the time or more, 2 of the past 3 games. There were whispers that Kenny Golladay might be coming back into the mix. I don't even if he does, what faith do we have in Kenny Golladay to give the Giants anything at all? He's still on the injury report with the questionable tag, so he doesn't scare me there. Robinson, I think, has some of the lowest yards per route run in the league. He's just week to week, he's impossible to trust. If Stafford doesn't go, there's even less reason to feel good about Robinson. Hollins, I guess, is like a long shot dart throw. Maybe he catches a bomb. But even without Waller last week, and I think Renfro did Renfro play last week? He's on IR now, but Hollins had a very quiet week. He's very boom bust. Okay, Renfro had 3 catches for 26 yards, and he served a bit as a punt returner. So even with Renfro doing absolutely nothing, in a good matchup, Hollins had 2 catches for 17 yards. It's not a great matchup by the numbers. They are at home, and obviously Hollins is going to step into a little bit more of a prominent role. No Renfro, no Waller. Man, he's boom bust. I guess if you want, if you want to go all or nothing, I guess Hollins, but he can literally give you nothing. His floor is 2 or 3 points. Slayton, the past couple of games. 3 of his past 4 games, 5 for 66, 3 for 58 and a touchdown. Week 6, he didn't do a whole lot. 1 catch for 18 yards, but the week prior, 6 for 79. He's getting involved. He's seen a minimum of 6 targets, 3 of the past 4 games, 6 catches, 3 catches, 5 catches in those games. The one where he had 3 catches, 1 was a score. I think I'm going Slayton here. I haven't seen enough from Tony to feel good about firing him up yet. Jalen Warren is like the dart throw of dart throws. Pacheco, I kind of like him to get some mop-up duty in the situation where Kansas City blows out Jacksonville, which I think they certainly can, and maybe Pacheco is getting some extra work just to salt the game away. But I'd rather have, if I have an option with a guy who I feel like is going to be involved from the jump, from the first quarter, I'd prefer taking that shot. So, Terrell, I think I'm going Slayton here along with Sutton. Hollins is like an all or nothing. I think I'd rather take Slayton has provided a solid floor 3 of the past 4 games played. And I have no faith in Kenny Golladay giving them anything, even though that they're optimistic he'll play. Who cares? Wan'Dale Robinson will continue to get some work as the full-time slot guy. Again, the other guy who's getting full-time work for them is Marcus Johnson, who has not been fantasy relevant. So give me Slayton. I'll take Slayton. Appreciate the super. Thank you so much, Terrell. Appreciate that very much. But Penguin, as far as Kyler before the Vikings play at 1 o'clock, the Vikings play at 1 o'clock. The Cardinals play at 4:25. He is questionable with the hamstring. He practiced on Friday. That's good news. I would say Kyler plays Penguin Master. I would be optimistic that Kyler plays. If you don't want to mess around with it, Cousins is a perfectly fine pivot. It's just a pretty tough matchup. Now he should have to throw a ton. They're on the road in Buffalo. Tough matchup, but he should have to throw it a ton, especially since Josh Allen is going to give it a go and is going to play. I would say if you're looking at your matchup and if you feel like you can get away with the floor play, if you want to play it safe and play Cousins, that's fine. If you feel like you need, the more upside play, then you might as well roll the dice with Kyler. If you can't play Kyler, who's the Sunday night game? Oh, is Jimmy G available, Penguin Master? He might not be. Is Jimmy G available? You could pivot to Jimmy G in the Sunday night game if you missed out on Kyler starting. But it sounds like Kyler's going to play. If you need the upside, I would still plan to play Kyler. I mean, he's like the QB 6 or 7 on the year. Sounds like he's going to play, so I want him in my lineup. Caden, the Colts fan. What's up, Caden? Would I flip Goddard and CD for Kelsey? Knowing that you would have to flex Garrett Wilson. Well, the Jets are on bye this week, Caden. I want Kelsey. That feels like a lot to give up, but also, that might be the asking price for the overall tight end one. But Garrett Wilson's on bye. The Jets are not playing this week. Who are your other options for the flex? If you're talking about just moving forward in general, I'm fine. I would be fine making the move if you want to get Kelsey. Can you get like a depth receiver in return? You're giving up Goddard, who's been a top 6 tight end, and CD is a wide receiver 1. Can you get anything in return? Any depth options? Let me know if you can get any depth options for that trade. Let me know. Itty bitty, what's good? What's going on? Good to see you. Tony's on the rise. I mean, the situation is great. I gotta see it. I gotta see it first. Before I fire him up, I gotta see it. I don't doubt that his situation has markedly improved, and he's a former first-round pick for a reason. He obviously has talent. I haven't seen enough to fire him up yet. Even as a wide receiver 3, I haven't seen enough yet. Mike, what's happening, man? Should you start Ayuk over Devontae Smith? If you can only play one, keep in mind Devontae Smith went nuclear against Washington earlier this year. Wasn't that his huge blow-up game where he had like 7 catches for 100 and some odd crazy yards and a touchdown? Week 3 against Washington, Devontae Smith, 8 catches for 169 yards and a touchdown on 12 targets. I love Ayuk and I love what he's doing, but I think just based on that, I think you have to play Devontae Smith. Normally, I want to play Brandon Ayuk, but Devontae Smith went absolutely ballistic against Washington the last time these two teams played. I would ride that wave. I want Ayuk in my lineup if I can, but if you've got other better options, then so be it. But I'm playing Devontae Smith this week against Washington. He killed them last time they played. He killed them. 8 for 169. Like, come on. Aquas, what's happening? Najee or Wan'Dale Robinson for your flex? I think you have to suck it up and play Najee. I know it hurt. I know Najee's a pain in the ass. I know he's not been built like what we were hoping he would be this year when we drafted him at the end of the first round, top of the second round. But he has been giving RB2 numbers. Steelers are at home, coming off the bye week. The Saints are coming in on a short week. Again, the Saints got the short end of the stick as it pertains to the schedule this time around because the Steelers had the week off and the Saints had to play on Monday night. And now they got to go on the road. That sucks. That's a tough spot. That's a tough spot for New Orleans. I would say I would fire up Najee. It's a boring floor play, but at least you've been able to rely on him for RB2 production. not what you drafted him for, but at least he's coming through and giving you 10, 12 points, maybe 13 or 14. In full PPR, he might give you a little extra. I would go Najee. Wandale is like, Wandale's intriguing, but I mean, I would go with the running back. I would go with the running back. Wandale had 2 good games in week 6 and 7. He had a quiet one week 8 in a tougher matchup. By the numbers, Houston is actually a tougher matchup by the numbers for opposing wide receivers because it's so easy to run on them. Like tomorrow's going to be a Saquon day. And not that Wandale can't come through with a decent line, but I feel like Saquon is about to just get all the work he can handle in the most favorable matchup by the numbers that he'll see this year. So I would go Najee. Kevin Hogan, Peoples-Jones, Smith-Schuster, Judy, Mooney. You need 3 of them. Judy's in my lineup. Mooney's in my lineup. Judy I trust because he's been coming on strong lately, and I personally think he's the Broncos wide receiver 1. Coming out of their bye week, nothing scary about the matchup. They're playing Tennessee. Tennessee gives up tons of production to opposing quarterbacks and wide receivers. So I'm firing up Judy. I'm playing Mooney, who has been on a tear recently because the Bears have finally figured things out on offense. The Bears finally look like they're figuring something out. Nothing scary about the matchup at home. I'm going back to the well with Mooney. Smith-Schuster is a floor play for you, Kevin. I kind of like Peoples-Jones as an upside ceiling play, though. They're going up against Miami. It's actually a really good matchup by the numbers. It could be a shootout. The Browns give up tons of points on defense, so Miami shouldn't have any issue scoring, which means the Browns need to keep pace. Juju's been giving you some solid play. Was it 2 of the past 3 weeks or 3 straight weeks? So he's a rock solid floor option for you, especially without Mecole Hardman. Juju is a floor play. If you think you can get away with it's like a 12, 13 point performance, maybe not anything more than that. He's been actually in full PPR. He's been a little bit better than that. In full PPR, Juju's been a little bit better than 13, 14 points. He's actually been close to that 20 point range. Whereas Peoples-Jones, I like Peoples-Jones, but I guess the volume isn't quite there. Yeah. All right, Donovan, DPJ is a little bit more all or nothing. All right, I guess you would go Juju, especially in full PPR and no Mecole Hardman, Kevin. If I'm not going to be pounding the table for Kadarius Toney, then I might as well pound the table for the other guy. The last 3, Judy, Mooney, Juju. I'll ride the Juju wave, especially with Mecole Hardman out tomorrow. And Joller, it's between Raymond, Knox, and Warren. Reynolds is out again, right, for the Lions. I don't think Khalif Raymond did much of anything last week. He didn't. 3 catches, 17 yards. I mean, Joller, for what it's worth, with Raymond, at least we know like I just said, the Bears are playing much better on offense. Raymond could be needed a little bit more. As far as Knox goes, Knox is just a little too tough to trust. You need a touchdown. Yeah, you need a touchdown. He might get a few more looks tomorrow in the intermediate game with Allen's, elbow bothering him, but I don't know if that's something I want to bank on. Warren is your, I guess, floor play. Raymond might actually be your ceiling play between these options. Raymond might actually be your ceiling play. At least there's no Josh Reynolds. John agrees about Kevin's question. I thought about, at first I was like, oh, Peoples-Jones. And then I realized Juju's actually, and in full PPR, Juju's been actually coming on strong recently. No Mecole Hardman. Yeah, I'm fine with Juju. So, yeah, go with those last 3, Kevin. And yeah, as far as Ayuk versus Devontae, Ayuk's been rock solid recently, but like what Devontae Smith did against Washington week 3, that is production I want to chase on Monday night. He killed them last time he played them, man. He killed them. Oh, Aquas, is Foreman locked in as an RB2 rest of the season? It looks like he might be. Chuba Hubbard doesn't look like he's much of anything. I kind of like Raheem Blackshear as the change of pace guy for the Panthers. But as long as the Panthers aren't getting blown out, Foreman's going to get in the game and get a lot of work. The only game on the schedule that looks a little concerning rest of season for him is, I don't think it's this week. I think it's the following week in Baltimore. I think the Panthers are on the road in Baltimore. They might get blown out that game. I might look to pivot off of Donta Foreman that week, but otherwise, it's looking like you might be able to fire up Donta Foreman rest of season. I mentioned this in the Discord earlier. The true test will be week 14 on the road in Seattle. Seattle's playing better. They're playing well on defense. That will be the true test. But they're still not like nobody's considering yet like Seattle as like world beaters. So that'll be the true test. If Foreman can come through in that matchup, then he can be fired up rest of season with plenty of confidence. I would just caution you maybe want to pivot off of Foreman or have other plans ready to go whenever they play Baltimore on the road. I think it's like week 12. I think. Looking this up right now. Oh no, it's this coming week. It's this coming week 11. This coming week against Baltimore on the road. I might be a little worried about Foreman, but otherwise, yeah, he looks like an RB2 rest of season. What's up, Elau? Can't choose between Rachaad White, George Pickens, or Kadarius Toney. I can help you with that. It's George Pickens, baby. We're firing up Pickens. Chase Claypool's out of the picture. The Steelers are past their bye. Pickett likes throwing to Pickens. That has been kind of proven so far this year. Rachaad White has not usurped Leonard Fournette yet in that backfield. And Kadarius Toney, I'm sorry. I need to see something. I need to see anything before I fire him up. Pickens has actually done something this year. Toney hasn't. Nothing scary about the matchup for Pittsburgh. Marshawn Lattimore is out for New Orleans, and the Saints are coming in on a short week. The Pittsburgh Steelers are coming off their bye week. I'm firing up Pickens. I would love to see Rachaad White do well tomorrow in Munich, but I'm not holding my breath. But yeah, just talking a little bit about Foreman here. Yeah, he's an RB2-ish rest of season. I would just be a little worried about him this coming week against Baltimore. So yeah. Yeah, Sleeper's the best. Everybody move your fantasy leagues over to Sleeper after this season. I want to lead a mass exodus off of Yahoo, off of ESPN, off of who else does fantasy? CBS, I think, does them. Yeah. Let's get everybody off of those and on to Sleeper. Would I drop Mims for Malik Davis? Theo, at this point right now, I'm hoping Mims has another good performance and I can flip him for a late pick. So I think I would hold Mims. Mims is the one who's actually getting like some looks and some run over Elijah Moore right now. I don't know. Elijah Moore, I guess, is just going to be in the doghouse for 2022. You have to wait for. You have to. That's right. The Jets are on their bye week this week. Yeah, you could drop Denzel. If you want to take a shot on Malik Davis, Theo, you can drop Mims for him if you want to. You can drop Mims if you want to take a flyer on him. As far as just real quick, Eli, as far as McKinnon is questionable. He hasn't been ruled out yet. Just FYI. What's happening, Richie Rich? Start 2, full PPR, Swift, Najee, Herbert, Sutton. The first 2. Man, I want to start Khalil Herbert. I do. I want to start Khalil Herbert, and there's nothing scary about this matchup at all. It's just he's so volatile when David Montgomery is healthy. Like in a barn burner game last week against Miami, when you would think Herbert would be good to fire up, the final score was 35-32. Herbert had 23 total yards, 7 total touches. He had 7 carries for 23 yards. Like, it's a good matchup by the numbers. But Swift and Najee, at least they're closer to. Well, Najee's a full-time player for sure, and Swift is more of a even banged up. Swift is more of a full-time player than Khalil Herbert is. The first two, Richie. It feels like pulling teeth at this point. I understand, but Swift and it's got to go Swift and Najee. It's got to be Swift and Najee. I see we got a lot of questions and comments in the chat. Just a reminder for everybody, I will get to everyone. So patience is appreciated, and please do not double post any questions. I promise I will see all of them. If anything happens where you feel like I maybe missed your questions, or if you don't see them in the chat, then feel free to post and then let me know. Like, just say, hey, like I don't know if you may have missed this or whatever. Let me know. But I promise I will get to everybody. Let's see. What about Gabe and Dulcich for DK straight up? Sure. If you have Kelsey, then sure. Yeah, you don't need Dulcich, especially because the Chiefs are past their bye week. Kelsey's not coming out of your tight end spot for the rest of the season. If you can flip Gabe and Dulcich into DK, yes, I would absolutely do that. I would absolutely do that. I don't know if you can get it done in time for the game tomorrow, but I would still pull the trigger on that. No question. Callie Logo, what's up, Callie? Knox or Tunyon, or pick up Otten and drop Gallup? I would pick up Otten and drop Tunyon. I would hold Gallup. I would pick up Otten, I would play Otten, and I would drop Tunyon. I have no reason to believe in the Packers at this point. Rodgers is dealing with a thumb injury. It's a bad matchup by the numbers for Tunyon. He's had like one usable week in the past pretty much all season, to be honest. His 10 catch, 90-yard output week 6 against the Jets. And then week 4, he had 2 catches for 22 yards and a touchdown. That was his only score of the year. Other than that 10 catch, 90-yard outburst, his high watermark in yardage this year is 37. I'm dropping Tunyon, Callie. I'm dropping Tunyon, picking up Otten, and I'm playing Otten. I'm holding Gallup. Don't drop Gallup. I'm not giving up on Gallup. And if you like Otten, go get him and pick him up. Go pick him up and play him. I would absolutely play Otten over those guys. But don't drop Gallup. And one more question from JP. That's okay. However many questions anybody needs. Friendly reminder, we will not have a stream tomorrow for the London, or it's not a London game. It's a Munich game. No stream tomorrow during the international game. I can be available in the Discord for any last-minute start-sit questions. If anybody's not in the Discord, it is the third link in the description of this video. Evergreen invite, and I can help out with questions there between tomorrow morning and the early slate. No stream tomorrow, but I can answer as many questions that come up tonight as needed. Not a problem. But now that you have McCaffrey, should you trade for, you mean Elijah Mitchell? Who's your tight end? I forget who your tight end is. Because if you're trading Waller and can get Elijah Mitchell, then sure. Fine. Yeah. Yeah. Who's your tight end? Let me know. B3 Solo, what's happening, B3? Jalen or Tua? You gotta play it. You gotta play Jalen Hurts. I know Tua's on a tear right now. But you gotta play the QB. Isn't Hurts like the QB2 on the season? You gotta play Hurts. Have to. Maybe he's QB5 on the season. I guess it depends on your scoring. Tua didn't leapfrog him, did he? No, he didn't. And and part of that is because Tua missed a couple of weeks due to the concussion. But I'm playing Jalen Hurts. I'm trying to trade Tua, B3. If this is one, it's one quarterback clearly. Otherwise, you'd be starting both of these guys in Superflex. You should try to trade Tua. Look for if there's anybody who's streaming quarterbacks or is QB needy, you should trade Tua for a good piece and keep rocking with Jalen Hurts, especially since you have the Devontae Smith stack. Pittman or Pickens in half PPR? Pickens? What did Pittman do last week? Did he have a slightly better week last week? No, he had a worse week. I don't trust Michael Pittman with Sam Ehlinger. If you can get away with 6 or 7 points, Callie, then sure. But otherwise, I'm going with Pickens. I don't trust Michael Pittman. I'll take Pickens, who Kenny Pickett clearly likes throwing to. You know, 3 of his past 4 games. Well, he got, did he play? Yeah, he did play against Philly. He got shut out, but that was a terrible game for Pittsburgh and a terrible matchup. But like prior to the Philly game, 3 of his 4 games, he saw 6 targets in all 4 games. He caught 6 balls in 3 of 4 games. He went over 60 yards in 3 of 4 games. He caught a touchdown, and in the other 2 games, he had 83 and 102 yards. I'm going with Pickens. Claypool's out of the picture. I feel better about Pickett than I do about Sam Ehlinger. I'm going Pickens, Callie. I don't trust Michael Pittman. I don't trust anybody except for Jonathan Taylor in that Colts offense. Sarp Erden has you got a difficult choice here, Sarp. Josh Palmer, Devontae Smith, or Jerry Jeudy. You can only start one of these guys. Who else are you starting at wide receiver? Just out of curiosity. Because I want to start Devontae Smith. I also want to start Jerry Jeudy. I mean, I want to start all 3 of these guys, but Palmer's 3rd on this list. I'll chase the talent. I'll chase the talent with Devontae Smith and Jerry Jeudy. But who else do you have? Who else do you have going in your wide receiver and I guess maybe your flex spot? Either Devontae Smith or Jerry Jeudy should be fine. Either one should be fine. Sheldon Bright, what's up, Sheldon? Should you go Dak or Trevor Lawrence? So Lawrence has probably game script on his side, right? The Jags are probably going to get blown out by Kansas City. But I'm going Dak. On the road. Nothing scary about Green Bay. They lost Rashawn Gary. They lost one of their better cornerbacks, both for the season. The Packers are in free fall right now. The Cowboys are just playing better. Dak is a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. Dak has better weapons top to bottom than Trevor Lawrence. Dak. I'm going Dak. I know it's on the road in Green Bay. But that defense is now all of a sudden decimated by injuries. Dak. I'm going Dak. Greg, as far as defense streams, I like the Chiefs. I like the Giants. I don't like the Raiders, and I don't like the Broncos. I mean, the Broncos might be fine, but they traded Bradley Chubb. I don't, Kansas City or the Giants. Either one is fine. Either one is fine. The Giants might be a little bit of a better overall unit. Kansas City's in an enticing option because, again, I just expect Kansas City to be playing with a lead tomorrow, which means the defense can tee off, force the offense to making mistakes, sacks, turnovers, all that good stuff. I guess I would slightly lean the Giants. Let's put it this way, Greg. I have in one league, I'm starting the Giants. In another league, I'm starting the Chiefs. So, like, take your pick. I guess, I mean, maybe I slightly lean the Giants just because I think their personnel is a little bit better. Um, but not by much. Kansas City's got some solid options, and they obviously play with a much better offense, who I think will give them a good lead tomorrow. It's take your pick. I'm starting again in one league. I'm starting Kansas City, in another league I'm starting the Giants. Like, I feel fine about both of them. I do. So, would you rather play what is probably the better unit in the Giants in a spectacular matchup, but the team as a whole I don't feel as confident about compared to Kansas City? Or would you rather play maybe they're not as talented as a unit in Kansas City, but I feel much better about their offense to support them, give them a lead, and then Kansas City can just play loose. And of course, Houston's offense is worse than Kansas City's. You know. Callie, as far as two wide receivers, full PPR between Gabe, Slayton, and Mooney has to be in. Mooney has to be in. Gabe is tough to trust. He's your ceiling play, but I guess the ceiling is lower with Allen's elbow injury. Slayton is a floor play. So it just depends on a combination of your risk tolerance and maybe what you need. If you think you can get away with a 10-point performance, then Slayton. If you need to roll the dice on a potential 15 to 20-point outing, then I guess Gabe. But Gabe's floor is 5 or 6 points tomorrow. So Mooney for sure. Mooney for sure. DJ Duvernay. What's up, DJ? Do I like Jimmy Garoppolo as a streamer? Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. I do like Jimmy G this week. He's got his full complement of weapons. Nothing scary about the matchup against the Chargers. He gets to throw the ball to Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and Brandon Ayuk. I do like Brissett for what it's worth. I would like him a little bit more if that game was in Cleveland. For what it's worth, if you go look at the numbers, if you go look at the home road splits, Jacoby Brissett hasn't been as good on the road. It's a great matchup. It's a great matchup by the numbers. And I think the Browns are going to have to throw a ton tomorrow because they're playing an electric offense on the other side in the Dolphins. So I do think Brissett is good, but I think I would lean Jimmy G as like the safer option, the safer stream, if that makes sense. He's not going to wow you. He's not going to run. He might only throw for 150 yards, but he might turn that into 3 touchdowns with the weapons that he has to throw to. Maybe like 200 yards. Brissett has the better matchup, but he doesn't have as good of weapons, and he just hasn't been as good on the road as that he has been at home. So Jimmy G is fine. He's fine. Rodgers, Kyler plays, but yeah, maybe he doesn't run much. That's the concern, right? That's the thing that you're worried about. When Kyler has been on the injury report before with hamstring or lower body injuries, he's maybe good for 20 to 30 rushing yard upside instead of like 50 to 60 rushing yard upside. So yeah, you're potentially playing with you're playing Kyler hoping he gets his floor instead of the optimism that he can get his ceiling. That being said, unless you have, like a Kirk Cousins to pivot to, there's a good chance you don't have somebody that I feel clear cut better about. At least he can still throw the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. He can still throw the ball to Zach Ertz. He can still throw the ball to Rondale Moore. His options, his weapons are good enough. Where it's like, okay, I'll still play Kyler. I still feel fine about playing Kyler. He's a QB1 on the year, maybe he doesn't put up QB1 numbers on an injured leg with that hamstring bothering him, but it's like, who else are you rolling the dice on, King Dirk, what's up, King Dirk? Should you trade Amon-Ra for Mike Evans? Yes, you should. Yes, you should. If you can make that move, I would absolutely do that. I like Amon-Ra. I think Amon-Ra is going to be fine rest of season. No TJ Hawkinson for Detroit anymore. Jamison Williams apparently is still not close to returning. Josh Reynolds is on IR. DeAndre Swift is banged up. Everything is in place for Amon-Ra to continue to produce at a high level, but he's been producing as like a wide receiver 3 recently. I know Evans didn't have a great game this past week, but Mike Evans has earned, the benefit of the doubt as far as wide receiver 1 expectations. The Bucs passing offense is harder to trust this year than it has been in years past. The offensive line is not good. Brady's not playing as well. But Mike Evans, from a talent perspective, is superior to Amon-Ra. And betting on talent is always a good way to go. I would make that trade. I would. Yes. Yep. Luis Garcia, you need one running back in full PPR, Melvin Gordon or Hines. Melvin. I can't play Nyheim Hines. He's given us nothing this year. He's given us nothing. And I don't know. I guess his role is going to be expanded tomorrow. But I'll go Melvin. It's gross. He might not even be his team's RB1 anymore. It could be Latavius Murray, but at least Melvin Gordon can, he could fall into the end zone and give you a 8 or 9, 10-point game. I don't trust Nyheim Hines right now. He hasn't given us any reason to believe. And as far as 2 wide receivers between Cooks, Peoples-Jones, Curtis Samuel, and is that Josh Palmer? The last 2. Curtis Samuel has been perfectly fine with Taylor Heineke in there, and Josh Palmer is going to operate as the Chargers wide receiver 1 tomorrow. I like Peoples-Jones, but he's more of a floor play than a ceiling play, and Brandon Cooks, he hasn't given us a whole lot of anything this year. I like Brandon Cooks, but this offense has clearly pivoted to let's just give the ball to Dameon Pierce as much as we can, and Cooks himself is on the injury report. He's disgruntled with his situation. He wanted to get traded. I don't know where he's at mentally. I know he's a professional, so of course he's going to want to come out and continue to play well and produce and, be there for his teammates, all that stuff, all those intangibles. But we haven't seen a whole lot from Brandon Cooks this year. I think he only has 1 touchdown on the season, and that was all the way back in like week 4 or 5. He got like a limited practice in on Friday, which is good, but he hadn't practiced all this week otherwise. I don't trust Brandon Cooks right now with that offense. Davis Mills is, no disrespect. Davis Mills is playing like a quarterback who's going to get replaced after this season. Give me Curtis. Give me Josh Palmer. P. Diddy, what's happening, P. Diddy? Would I pay the predicted first overall pick, a 24 first, and Isaiah Spiller for Taylor, and is that Derek Carr in Superflex? No. No, I would not. I would not do that. Because the first overall pick is going to be Bijan Robinson. You still have another first round pick in 2024. I'm not really worried about Isaiah Spiller. Jonathan Taylor, again, it's easy to have tunnel vision on the year that he's had and think like, oh, his value has plummeted. And it's gone down, but it hasn't plummeted. The issue here is Derek Carr. he legitimately might get cut after this season. I think I got to double check his contract, but I'm pretty sure that the Raiders have an out this year in Derek Carr's contract where they don't I think they don't get slapped with a huge dead cap hit. Let me double check this right now. Yeah. Derek Carr after this year comes with a dead cap hit of 5.6 million. That might happen. That might happen. There is a non-zero chance that Derek Carr's rope is running out. So to trade what essentially is Bijan Robinson, a 24 first, and a running back prospect for what might amount to just Jonathan Taylor, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, P. Diddy. I don't. Yeah, nah. Not interested. I would keep my picks, especially if it's predicted first overall. I'll take Bijan Robinson. And that pick will have significantly more value in the offseason. That pick will have even more value when everybody starts salivating over Bijan Robinson. I would hold. I would hold. Danger Garcia. What's going on? Thanks for coming in. Ayuk, Gabe Davis, or Fournette in the flex. Fournette is a floor play. He can give you 10, 12, maybe 14 points. Ayuk feels a little bit safer. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. Brandon Ayuk in full PPR prior to the bye week. I know he's been on fire recently. He's been playing very well. And yes, Debo is coming back. He had a good game week 8 when Debo was out. He didn't play. Debo didn't play that game. 6 catches, 81 yards for a touchdown. But the previous 2 weeks, Debo did play. 7 catches, 82 yards, 8 catches, 83 yards, and 2 scores. We're not expecting 2 touchdown performances every week from Brandon Ayuk, but he has been a mainstay, a regular in that offense. If it's especially full PPR, I think I would go Ayuk. Fournette is a boring floor play if you think you can get away with a boring floor play, but I feel kind of good about Ayuk. In standard, I would go Fournette, but if it's half or full PPR, I would go Ayuk. I would. I mean, Gabe is interesting, but among these options, he's third. He's a little bit boom bust. I thought he was a little bit more boom, but he's more boom bust than you wish he was, especially considering where he mostly got drafted. And Allen's got the elbow injury. So yeah, Davis is third for me here. Some good options to choose from. I think I would go Ayuk. Eli, Washington, they can not forget all they want. I don't know if they have the talent for it to matter. I do like Ayuk, but Devontae Smith, man. I mean, look at Donta Foreman. He had a 3 touchdown performance against Atlanta, and 10 days later, he still had an RB1 performance against them on a short week. Teams can remember performances against them all they want. If they don't have the personnel or the talent to stop them, well, then that's their problem. And yeah, Rodgers, Najee is boring, but he can give you a boring RB2 play if you think that's all you need. That's it. P. Diddy, I was wondering where I was like, I know you have badges. I was like, I just realized you didn't have your little green, your account name didn't have the green lettering. But there you go. Good to see that that's fixed. Yeah, Nyheim Hines has a high projection. Ignore it. He hasn't hit it. He hasn't even come close to hitting it any game this season. And I like Nyheim Hines. I do. I think he's a good NFL player. He's done nothing to warrant being put in a fantasy lineup outside of like the deepest of leagues. I don't know if you're in like a 20 team league or something. Yeah. I mean, as far as Warren, you can take a shot on him. You can't expect more than 6 or 7 points though. This is one of those situations where it's like, yeah, you can hope that he usurps Najee it a little bit, but they spent a first round pick on Najee. It's kind of like the Zeke situation in Dallas with the contract they gave him. Yeah, Tony Pollard is clearly better, but they're going to keep pounding the rock with Zeke to try to prove a point. It's going to be the same situation with Najee. They spent a first round pick on him. They're not going to go away from him yet. Terrell, I'm sorry. I totally missed there was a second super, or maybe this was the first super. No, this was the second one. I apologize, Terrell. I totally missed that. That is my bad. As far as Sutton or Slayton, I'm not crazy about Sutton, but this is kind of a far enough drop off where I would play Sutton over Slayton, but I would play Slayton over your other options. I would. I apologize for missing that. That didn't even pop up for me as like a little. They usually flash at the top of my screen. I didn't see that. I'm sorry about that. Sorry for the wait. I don't feel great about Sutton when Jerry Jeudy is healthy and playing, but at least the matchup is really good. And there's just a talent level difference here between Sutton and Slayton. So I'll play the better player, and that's Sutton. I apologize for missing that, Terrell. Sorry about that. This will be known as the Jalen Warren dialogue. You'd love to see it. There we go. I still see there's plenty of questions and comments in here. I promise I will get to everybody. Appreciate everybody's patience. Callie's got a kicker question. Matthew Wright for the Steelers or Cairo Santos on the Bears? There aren't any better options, man. Oof. I don't know if I trust a backup kicker. What did Wright do? I know he filled in for Boswell. Or no, was that Dicker? Who filled in for Boswell last week? Was that Dicker? I don't even know. Man, I don't know if I can trust Wright. Santos, I mean, against the Lions, man, I mean, you're talking about 2 dart throws. You're talking about 2 complete dart throws. I guess are those your best options, Callie? Like, did anybody drop Jason Myers by chance because of the bad matchup? Like, there's got to be somebody else on your wire. Did anybody drop Butker? He's been dealing with some issues, but apparently he's healthy now. Like, is Lutz out there? I don't know. What's McManus done recently? Is he out there? He's hard to trust. I mean, I guess with Wright, there's nothing scary about the matchup against the Saints. Is it going to rain in Pittsburgh tomorrow? There is a 45% chance of rain. Callie, I would just keep an eye on weather reports. If it's supposed to be, let me look up, I'll look up the Pittsburgh weather right now. This is what I like to do with kickers. Just, take a look at the forecast. Take a look at the hour by hour forecast and see if it's going to, it's not as much rain that I'm worried about as long as it's not torrential downpours. It's more like the wind. Is it going to be windy? That's what the concern is. 1% chance of rain, 1% chance of rain, 5% chance of rain. Okay. It doesn't look too bad in Pittsburgh tomorrow. I mean, you can take a chance on Wright, I guess. It's a really good matchup by the numbers. Maybe Pittsburgh stalls a little bit here and there at home. I guess you could play Wright, Callie. I don't feel great about it, but I guess you can play right. Uh, Mike High. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I missed your question by accident. Should you trade Zeke and CD for Adams? If you can do it, then sure. If you can do it, then sure. I mean, can you get a depth running back in return? You're probably not going to be able to get a whole lot back, but can you does he have like a Rashad White on his might not want to be he might not be willing to give that up, but like you're giving up two pieces, you're giving up at least two names. I know Zeke is questionable, he might not play tomorrow, but try to take advantage of the name appeal. Can you get like any depth running back in return? Doesn't hurt to ask. Never hurts to ask. If he says no, I don't mind moving off of Zeke just because he's dealing with these knee injuries now. He's dealing with, this has been something that he's potentially missing 2 weeks in a row. Including like coming out of the bye week. So I don't mind moving off of Zeke, but if you can get any type of depth piece in return, I would try to do that and try to make it a 2 for 2. Hopefully that helps. King Dirk, I already got your question. Jaller, appreciate the kind words. I do what I'm trying over here. Do what I can. Trying to hold it down. Again, one more time. There will not be a stream tomorrow just because there's an international game in Munich, but I will be available in the Discord if any questions come up between tomorrow morning and the 1 o'clock slate. St. Brown might go off tomorrow. He should. He should be putting up big performances. Hawkinson gone. Reynolds is out. Chark is on IR. Jameson Williams is nowhere close to coming back. DeAndre Swift is regularly on the injury report. But it's been kind of quiet for Amon-Ra recently. I guess he should be needed tomorrow. The Bears have figured some things out on offense. They're scoring points now. So the Lions are going to have to keep pace. But also the Lions have been significantly worse on the road than they have been at home. And outside of a solid game week 3 against Minnesota, Amon-Ra himself has not put up big numbers on the road this year. When they get out of the cushy, comfy confines of their dome, the Lions struggle. When the Lions are on the road, they struggle. He should put up good numbers. We'll see. I'd rather have Mike Evans if that pertains to that trade question between him and Evans. Sideline star, Herbert or Jeff Wilson? Wilson. He got used right away, right after the trade. Dolphins send a 5th-round pick to San Francisco. They get Jeff Wilson right away. He gets 50% of the snaps. He catches a touchdown. He's in what is now the Dolphins are a high-octane offense. That is an electric offense. Herbert's usage is, totally unpredictable when Montgomery is healthy. Wilson. I'm going Wilson. Yeah. Yeah, I'll chase those points. And JP, you have Kelsey. What was the to pick up was that to pick up Mitchell? Or I forget. Remind me the context. Rojo, man, we're always live on Saturdays. John's not here today though. But good to see you, man. Thanks for coming in. John Alvarez, what's happening, John? Would I drop Wandale to pick up Gallup or Jarvis? I want to pick up Gallup. Who else could you potentially drop? I don't want to drop Wandale, but I do want Gallup. If I can pick up Gallup, I want Gallup. But I don't want to drop Wandale. Not yet. Couple more bad performances, and then sure. But for now, I want to pick up Wandale, especially because now he's past his bye week. I could rely on Wandale rest of season if I need to. Yeah. I don't know why these supers aren't coming in, they're not coming in. I'm sorry about that. Boxy Kevin, thank you for the super. I'm not getting any notification. I apologize for the delay. I appreciate that you guys think enough to send some supers over. I'm not getting like the notification that I'm getting them. So I apologize for the delay, but I'm going to jump down to Boxy Kevin right now. Gabe Davis, Michael Carter, and Clyde for Taylor. That's a lot to give up for Taylor. That's a lot to give up. Taylor's obviously the best player in this trade. Obviously. But he's coming back from an ankle injury that he has re-aggravated from earlier in the season. It's good that he's coming back. But he's coming back to a bad Colts team. Now, Taylor should be fine, and he should be good this week against the Raiders. The Raiders' defense is not good. So he should be fine. Oh, now I see the supers coming in. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Boxy. Thank you. I will finish off my first thought about the trade, and then I'll get to your other super. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Taylor's the best player in this trade, no doubt. Gabe Davis is a little boom bust. Michael Carter is, he's a flex play, but, James Robinson kind of keeps him from being a slam dunk for your lineups moving forward. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire is kind of in the same boat. Michael Carter and Clyde are kind of like cut from the same cloth, right? They're both interesting, but there are other pieces in the backfield that prevent them from being slam dunk options. So I guess, from that perspective, Taylor is the only guy in this trade that you can fire up with confidence as long as he's healthy week after week. So from that perspective, yeah, I want Taylor. I would just say it's a lot to give up. Giving up 3, maybe not like slam dunk pieces, but usable pieces. If I have a winning record, if I'm like a top seed, if I'm 6-2 or 5-3 or better, then give me the package. If I'm desperate for production and I just need like a really good high-end option and I'm clawing, scratching, fighting for my life. Or I had that the other way around. If I'm fighting, scratching, clawing for my life, give me the package. Give me like at least multiple usable options to turn to. If I am in the driver's seat for the playoffs, then yeah, I'll take a shot on a guy who's got, top 5 upside at the position. I would just warn with Taylor, he's not out of the woods because this Colts team stinks. But if you have a really good record, maybe you've got other good pieces that you can rely on, then sure, I don't mind having Taylor. I would rather have the package if I was maybe like, if I'm 4-5 or 3-6 and I'm fighting for my playoff life and I just needed some healthy bodies, then sure, Davis, Carter, Clyde. Because in all likelihood, if I'm 3-6, 4-5 or whatever, Taylor might not be good enough to carry me and my team. So I might as well take a shot on some other usable pieces. So it depends on your situation, and I'm not sure which side you got. If you're sitting pretty and you acquired Taylor, great. If you're in a tough spot and you acquired the package, also fine. It depends on the scenario. Okay, you're 4-3, 11 spot team with 2 flex. Diggs good, Kirk good, Cooper good, Boyd good for now until Chase comes back. Henry stud, Saquon stud. Okay, you acquired Taylor, or you're 6-3. Okay, then I'm fine. I'm fine with this shot that you took, Boxy Kevin. You got yes, you gave up a lot. You gave up 3 pieces, but you've got some studs to lean on, and you've already got a good record. You might as well swing for the fences with a guy who's got RB1 upside, because if he doesn't work out, you still have Henry and Saquon. Diggs is a stud. Cooper is a stud who's getting Deshaun Watson back, so he'll remain a stud. Christian Kirk as a wide receiver 3 is perfectly fine. Boyd can get you by until Jamar Chase comes back, and then he's more of a depth option for you. Because you're 6-3 and you're taking a chance on the best player in the trade, I'm fine with the move. I'm fine with the move. I would just caution, Taylor's a little dicey because he's on It's not a good Colts team. It's not a good Colts offensive line. It's really bad. But he's good enough where if healthy, you can expect him to give you 15, 17, 18, 20-point weeks, 15 to 20-point weeks, even on a bad day. That's what you traded for because you gave up 3 good pieces for him. Because you're 6-3, I'm fine with the trade. I'm fine with the move. You're swinging for the fences, man. I always tell people, swing for the fences. Take your moonshots. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the trade. You have a good record. You're in the driver's seat for the playoffs. You should make the playoffs. You probably only need one more win to secure a playoff spot. And you've got a squad that, even without Taylor, Diggs, Cooper, Kirk, Derrick Henry, Saquon, that's a good enough team to win in the playoffs. If you have Taylor, that's icing on the cake. So yeah, I'm fine with this. It was a lot to give up. I don't love doing 3-for-1 trades, but those 3 pieces for Taylor, fine. Thank you again for the super. I really appreciate it. I don't know why it wasn't like flashing at the top of my screen. Same with Terrell. Terrell, if you're still in here, I apologize for the delay on the supers. I don't know why they weren't showing up. Appreciate the contributions. Appreciate the generosity. Not necessary at all, but very much appreciated. The channel appreciates the support. Thank you so much. Let's see. Where are we at? Oh, Jawler, it's possible Matt Ryan comes back in. Yeah, he might. Obviously, with Frank Reich gone, Saturday could just do his own thing. If he decides that he wants to try to go back to the well with Matt Ryan, if Ellinger doesn't get it done this week, he could. Maybe that helps Taylor a little bit. Who the hell knows? It's a rough spot in Indianapolis. But for the time being, I don't trust those Colts receivers, including Michael Pittman. Pittman might get maybe gets you 10 points. Maybe. That's a roll of the dice I'm not willing to take right now. JP, you're welcome. Good luck this weekend if I don't hear from you again. But obviously, anybody's always welcome to continue asking questions. Again, I will not be live tomorrow. There is an international game. I will be in the Discord. 3rd link in the description of this video. If you have any start-sit questions that come up between tomorrow morning and the 1 o'clock slate. TS, what's going on, TS? Thanks for your patience. 1 wide receiver and 1 flex between Josh Palmer, Rondale Moore, Cortland Sutton, Jeff Wilson Jr., Khalil Herbert, and Raheem Mostert. Palmer and Wilson for me. I want to say Rondale, but because of Kyler's injury, yeah, I guess maybe he throws a little bit more, but if the injury's bothering him that much, it might lower the floor of the entire offense, and that means if I have other good options other than Rondale, I want to pivot, and you have them. Palmer's going to operate once again as Justin Herbert's wide receiver 1. Last week, I think he had 8 catches, 8 for 106. So it's a tougher matchup going up against San Francisco. But they just lost Jason Verrett again, which, by the way, I feel terrible for Jason Verrett. The guy is super talented, and he keeps getting injured, like devastating injuries. I think he's got like 2 ACL tears and 2 Achilles tears since his career kicked off in the NFL. Like tons of talent. It just injuries, man. They suck. But they lost him, and that's a big loss for their defense. So Palmer should be fine tomorrow, operating as Herbert's wide receiver 1. And again, with Jeff Wilson, they utilized him right away after the trade. He knows this offense. Mike McDaniel comes from San Francisco, got involved with 50% of the snaps, caught a touchdown. I would go back to the well with Wilson against the Browns. The Browns defense is the most disappointing unit in the NFL this year. They were supposed to be one of the better defenses in the NFL. They're giving up points left and right. The Browns defense stinks. So yeah, give me Jeff Wilson Jr. and then give me Palmer operating as Herbert's wide receiver 1. Rondale takes a backseat because of Kyler's hamstring injury. Sutton takes a backseat because I just, if it's between Sutton and Darius Slayton, then all right, Sutton. But I don't trust Sutton when Jerry Jeudy is healthy and playing. Khalil Herbert is volatile when David Montgomery is playing. And I think Mostert might be getting usurped by Jeff Wilson. We'll see what happens this week. But Wilson got in there right away last week in his first game with the team. That doesn't happen that often. Palmer and Wilson, TS. And Elau, I'm playing Pickens over Cooks. I'm playing Pickens over Cooks. Cooks has been on the injury report all week. He got a limited session in Friday. The Houston's offense stinks. Cooks hasn't done a whole lot this year because Davis Mills is not playing well. They're just handing the ball off to Dameon Pierce as much as they can. I'm playing Pickens. Sober Thoughts. What's going on, Sober Thoughts? I do play Dynasty. I'm in 2 Dynasty leagues. One is a 1-quarterback league. One is a super flex league. I want to turn the 1-quarterback league into a super flex league, but that's another conversation. 30-man rosters. It's 12 team each, 30-man rosters. You start 10. We don't play kickers. We don't play defenses. It's half PPR, but it's tight end premium. So half PPR for running backs and wide receivers, full PPR for tight ends. So tight ends get a little bit of a boost. Guys like Kelsey and Andrews are big-time game changers. What other details? It's like four-round rookie drafts that we hold like a week after the NFL draft. On Sleeper. It's a lot of fun. I love it. I love playing Dynasty. My 1-quarterback team is solid. It's a pretty good roster. I feel good about it. I think I have a top 4 team in that league. We'll see what happens during the playoffs. I just made a big trade to acquire Tyreek Hill for some future pieces. So I'm feeling good. My super flex team, candidly, I screwed it up. So I blew it up and I'm now rebuilding. So that team is not very good. But I realized it at least, and I sold my older pieces for young players and draft capital. So I hit the reset button on it. But still, it's a lot of fun. I do like playing Dynasty. The rosters are deep. Lots of decisions to be made. Pretty active league. I have a few league members where it's like pulling teeth trying to get a hold of them, but I know I'm not the only person who deals with that. Lots of people deal with it. It's a lot of fun. If anybody ever wants to talk shop, we talk shop about Dynasty a lot in the off season. Obviously, redraft is the focus right now. And season long is the focus right now. But I do play Dynasty, and it's my favorite format to play. Dynasty and best ball are my favorite formats to play over redraft, believe it or not. Daniel, what's going on, Daniel? You were sent Montgomery, Amon-Ra, and Steedy for Lenny, Debo, and Olave. Should you accept? No. No, I wouldn't do that because I'd rather have Fournette and Montgomery are a wash of just like very average running backs. But I guess I'd rather have Fournette. That might burn me if they decide to fire up Rachaad White, but the Bears could easily start firing up Khalil Herbert a little bit more. That's a wash for me, the running backs. I'd rather have Debo than, CD and Debo are a wash. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the linchpin here is I'd rather have Olave than Amon-Ra. I would. Olave they're very similar. They're target monsters. They're both very smart route runners. Olave's been more consistent. And Michael Thomas is not coming back. He's done for the season. Jarvis Landry coming back does nothing for me. No disrespect to Jarvis, but Olave, man, just like look at the work that he's receiving. He didn't play week 6 due to a concussion, but 9 targets, 7 targets, 14 targets, 6 targets. That was the week he got hurt with the concussion. He obviously would have had more than 6 targets. 7 targets, 13 targets, 13 targets. He had 3 targets week 1. Whatever. It was his first game as an NFL player. 3 targets, whatever. He caught all 3 of them for what it's worth. This dude is a target machine. He is a smart player. He knows where to be on the field. He's already an incredibly savvy route runner. they continue. The Saints seem like they continue to want to keep throwing Andy Dalton out there for better or worse. And even when even when Jameis Winston was in there, Olave was still getting 13 targets. I don't think it matters who the Saints quarterback is. They like throwing to Chris Olave, and for good reason. The dude's a smart football player. He knows where he needs to. He knows where he needs to be. He knows when he needs to set his route down. If it's like a zone coverage, he knows where to find the soft spot. He can go deep. He can do everything. I love Olave, man. I would say, Daniel, I would say no. I would keep Lenny, Debo, and Olave. I would keep what you have. I love Olave, man. I tried to trade for him in our rookie draft, or I tried to trade for the pick to acquire him, and I just missed out. And now I'm wishing I had offered a little bit more. He looks awesome. He looks awesome. I really like Olave. Za215, you traded T. Higgins and Schultz. You got Saquon. Nice. Cool. So your running backs are, you have the Detroit backfield, you have Pierce, and you have Eckler. Dude, if you can flip Swift for Olave, I hope you heard my diatribe on Chris Olave. Yes, if you're in here, if you heard that, I hope that's enough. If you need me to explain again, I will. Yes. If you can get Chris Olave for DeAndre Swift when you have Saquon and Pierce and Eckler, yes. Do it. Run, don't walk. Run, don't walk. Has David Montgomery been sent to the Shadow Realm? I would do it myself if I could. He's the most boring running back in the league. And no disrespect, boring doesn't mean bad. I just want to caveat that. Boring doesn't mean bad, but he's so boring. Like, please play Khalil Herbert a little bit more, but they're not. And honestly, now Justin Fields is like, I'm happy for Justin Fields. Like, it seems like he's figuring some things out, and the offense, the Bears coaching staff seems to have finally figured out a way to actually utilize him. So yeah, see you later, David Montgomery. See you later. Greg Z, which three wideouts should you start? Diggs, Mooney, Cook, Sutton, DPJ. Diggs, Mooney. Sutton is a floor play. I'm not crazy about Sutton when Judy is healthy, and Judy is healthy. I'm not crazy about Sutton. That being said, I don't trust Cooks, and Diggs, Mooney, Sutton. I don't trust Cooks. I like DPJ, but I'll give credit to Cortland Sutton. I'd rather play Sutton than Donovan Peoples-Jones. Although I do think DPJ is a perfectly fine floor play. I do. He doesn't get too many targets, but he should get a few extra tomorrow in what I think will be a shootout in Miami. Finn Strom, what's up, Finn? Trade between Kelsey and Dak for Hurts and Ertz. Looks pretty fair, to be completely honest. I guess I would slightly prefer the Kelsey side, just because it's Kelsey. He's far and away the top tight end. I mean, when healthy, Mark Andrews makes it so it's not far and away, but Kelsey has been the tight end one this year once again because he's a freaking stud. Hurts is a better fantasy quarterback than Dak, so obviously I'd rather have Hurts than Dak, but I'd rather have, and Ertz has been good. Ertz is a top 4 tight end. I think it's pretty fair, Finstrom, to be completely honest with you, but I guess I think I slightly prefer. And as an Eagles fan, go Birds. I love the Eagles. So therefore, Jalen Hurts is my guy. He's my quarterback in one quarterback dynasty. Love having that. We're talking about Travis Kelce here, man. We're talking about the best tight end in the league by a long shot. No disrespect to Mark Andrews, but by a long shot. Slight edge to the Kelsey side, but I really like. I think that's a very fair trade, Finn. I think it's a very fair trade. Lincoln was here. What's up, Lincoln? Who should I be starting? Adam Thielen or Rondale Moore? Rogers thinks you should play Moore. Is it full PPR? I kind of like Thielen. Because at least it's a bad matchup by the numbers, but they're going to have to throw, and at least Thielen's quarterback is healthy. Moore's quarterback is not healthy. Kyler's questionable with the hamstring injury. Thielen can be a boring floor play where he gives you, 4 catches for 40 yards, like a tight end number. But I mean, his past 2 games played, 67 receiving yards both games, and that third game, only 36 receiving yards, but he caught a touchdown. It's not a good matchup by the numbers, again, going up against Buffalo. I think Thielen is your floor play, Lincoln. If you need to swing for the fences, then Rondale is fine. But again, Kyler is on the injury report with this hamstring injury. So I'd be a little leery of that. I like Rondale Moore. He should have maybe his role expands even a little bit tomorrow if Kyler needs to get the ball out fast, to protect his injury, to protect the hamstring injury. Maybe Rondale gets a few more short looks, right? Just bang, bang, get the ball out real quick. Like 3-step, 1, 2, 3-step, drop back, throw. Like, don't think about it. Rondale might benefit from that, but I think I kind of lean Thielen here because at least I know his quarterback is healthy. Acrazia, I hope I'm saying that correctly. You have a tough decision to make here between Pierce and Walker in full PPR. I mean, Pierce is coming off a season and career high in rushing yards against the Eagles. He's got a tougher matchup against the Giants by the numbers. The Giants are coming off their bye week. The Texans had 10 days rest because they played last Thursday. Dameon Pierce has topped 100 yards from scrimmage in every game except for one since week 3. And in the one game he didn't get 100 yards from scrimmage, he still caught a touchdown. Walker, since he took over, Walker's been freaking money, man. Man, who are your other, who else are you starting? That is a really tough decision. If you're still in here, crazy, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Who else are you starting? It's probably, you might have like an Eckler or a Chubb or a Saquon in there. So obviously you're not taking those guys out, but that's a tough call to make. Both are in not great matchups. Walker is over in Germany tomorrow. Pierce is on the road in New York. So at least for Walker, it's a neutral game site. It's not a home game for Tampa. So the fact that it's a tough matchup by the numbers makes it a little less scary. I might actually lean Walker here. Dameon Pierce has been awesome, man. But if I like the Giants defense tomorrow, then something's got to give. I might give a slight lean to Walker. You're talking about 2 really good options. There's a chance that one of these 2 dudes, there's a good chance one of these 2 dudes pops on your bench tomorrow. I think I give the slight lean to Walker. Slight lean. Rojo, you already know, man. Thank you so much for the kind words. Appreciate it. Yeah. Likes definitely help. I won't beg for them, but likes definitely help us in the YouTube algorithm, help other people find us. If you guys are finding this stream helpful or interesting, it was a bit of a quiet week, admittedly, for us as far as creative content and recorded content. John was off this week, so we didn't put as much out this week, but we do try to regularly put content out for you guys other than the live streams. If you're interested in becoming a member, maybe you're not a member, but you like what you see. For the remainder of the season, we do have a special where for 99 cents a month, you can join the practice squad level membership, and you can join our Wednesday and Thursday streams as well, in addition to our Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday streams. And you just get a little bit more time with us. You'll get your questions answered much sooner if you have them. I go over box scores and snap counts on Wednesdays with the members. So we try to ascertain some information from that. Whatever information we can maybe determine from that might give us a little bit of insight into some of our start sit questions, if you're interested. If not, that's okay too. Obviously, we are here for everybody, for the general public, on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. But Rojo, appreciate the kind words. And the Discord is a lot of fun. We got an awesome community of people over there. A lot of people just talking shop, talking fantasy, helping people out. I jump in there when I can. Evergreen invite, third link in the description of this video. You don't need to be a member to join the Discord, although you do get faster, you get more access to us in the membership channels of the Discord. But you don't have to be a member to join the Discord. And I will be in there. I will be in the Discord tomorrow. Again, no stream because of the international game tomorrow. But I will be available in the Discord for start sit help if any questions come up between tomorrow morning and the 1 o'clock slate. All right, here we go. Dirty Dan. What's going on, Dirty Dan? Jeff Wilson or Christian Kirk? Scoring would help here. If it's full PPR, I'd probably go Christian Kirk. If it's half PPR or standard, I'd probably go Jeff Wilson. Depends on what you need. Both should be rock solid plays. Kirk, I guess, maybe even in half PPR, maybe a slight edge to Kirk as far as just like a safe floor play. But if you need some upside, I think, Wilson maybe has a lower floor, but against the Browns, his ceiling might be higher. That being said, Kirk should probably be in favorable game script all game long tomorrow. Jacksonville's going to have to throw it, or I would think they have to throw it a ton against Kansas City. They got to keep pace with Patrick Mahomes, or they got to try anyway. John, you have Madison on your bench, James Robinson, Elijah Mitchell. Was to drop to pick up Gallup? Do you have McCaffrey? I would try to trade Elijah Mitchell. I would try to trade a couple of these pieces, maybe a 2-for-1. Try to trade Elijah Mitchell to the person who has Christian McCaffrey. So like, hey, here's the handcuff. Here's the insurance policy. Do you want Elijah Mitchell? Like, see if you can do a 2-for-1, open up a roster spot. That way you don't have to drop anybody, and then you can pick up Gallup. That's what I would try to do. Identify whoever has Christian McCaffrey, see if they want Elijah Mitchell. And now's the time to sell Elijah Mitchell and in addition to another piece, for something usable, because it's his first game back from injury. So his appeal will not be any higher, most likely, than it is now, barring a McCaffrey injury, which, we're not banking on. All right. So I would try to do that. Mayan Yancey. What's going on, Mayan? I hope I'm saying that correctly. Chase Claypool or Mac Hollins? Oi. Do you have any other waiver wire options out there? Claypool is interesting, but it's his first, or it's his second game with his new team. It's a good matchup, and they're at home. It's a good matchup by the numbers. He caught, 2 balls for 13 yards last week. He could have had another long catch late in the game. It was a questionable the non-pass interference call against him. Hollins, at least has a wide open opportunity. No Darren Waller, no Hunter Renfrow. But even, last week's game was a reminder that he is like a huge boom bust player. Last week, he only had 2 catches for 17 yards. The previous 2 weeks, he's put up good numbers: 7 for 64, 2 for 44, and a touchdown. I guess a slight lean to Hollins. You're talking about guys both of these dudes' floors are literally 0. Claypool and Hollins could give you maybe like 2 or 3 points. I'd be curious to know who your other waiver wire options are, or just in general, who your other bench options are. Let me know. If it's between them, Claypool is the better player, right? Second round pick with a better athletic profile, whereas Matt Collins was a former 4th round pick. The Bears traded for Claypool. They gave up a good asset, a second round pick to acquire him. So you would think they want him to be a big part of their game plan, right? Once he gets acclimated, once he learns the offense. Now he's had 2 full weeks, maybe a week and a half. So he should be a little bit more acclimated. I'll say between these 2 options, Claypool is your ceiling play. If you need upside, I'll say that's your ceiling play. Hollins is more of a floor play. As far as between these 2 options. Depends on what you need. If you feel like you're an underdog, then Claypool. If you feel like you're a favorite or maybe it's an even matchup, then maybe I would just go Hollins. Well, hopefully that helps. Callie, if Allen sits, Pickett or Keenum, I guess I would just go Keenum, but it sounds like Allen's going to give it a go. So if Allen is your quarterback, you have no choice. You have to play him if he starts, obviously. But I would go Keenum. I don't trust Kenny Pickett. Even in a good situation with the Steelers coming off their bye week, the Saints are coming in on a short week, right? They played on Monday night this past week. No Marshawn Lattimore will help Kenny Pickett. I just don't trust Pickett, man. Not for fantasy purposes. I trust him to get the ball to George Pickens. That's about it. At least Keenum would have the, Keenum's a veteran and would be able to rest on the fact that it's just a better offense in Buffalo with better players. Jim, 896. What's going on, Jim? Sit one in full PPR. Kirk, Judy, Lazard. Ugh. Dang. I want to play Jerry Judy. Man, I want to play Lazard too. Lazard had a very good game this past week. The problem with Lazard is Aaron Rodgers is apparently dealing with a thumb injury. Lazard himself is not on the injury report, so that's good. And Lazard has been rock solid. He's been rock solid when he plays this year, and he's not on the injury report. Rodgers was removed from the injury report, so that's good. And as far as Kirk's been a little up and down, but 3 of the past 4 weeks, 4 for 24 and a touchdown. Not great receiving yardage, but at least he gave you the touchdown. Week 7, 7 catches, 96 yards. Week 8, only 3 for 40 on 7 targets. And then this past week, week 9, 8 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown. And then Judy. I like Judy. I might have to eat my bias here a little bit. I do like Judy a lot. Really good weeks the past 2 weeks prior to the bye week. 6 for 63 and a touchdown. 7 for 96. Man. That's a tough call, Jim. Do you have any stacks? Who's your quarterback? Jesus. I think Lazard has to be in. Just he looks like, believe it or not, he's been the most consistent. And at home, Romeo Doubs is out. He might see 15 targets tomorrow, or at least 10 to 12. I think Lazard has to be in. It depends on your risk tolerance, I guess, at this point, Jim. Christian Kirk has been a little bit more consistent season long, but I think Jerry Jeudy is the slightly more talented player. And Judy's in the better matchup by the numbers. Kirk should have game script in his favor all game long going up against the Chiefs. Damn, this is a tough call. You have some really good options here. You have some really good options here. I think Lazard has to be in. I'll say Kirk is your floor play and Jeudy is your ceiling play. So it depends on your situation, Jim. If you're an underdog, I would say I would play Jeudy and hope for the best. If you think you can, if it's more even, if it's an even matchup, or maybe you're a favorite, then maybe I play Kirk. I think all three of these guys are good choices tomorrow. I think Lazard of these names is the one that has to be in. It's a tough call. It's three good choices. I'll say Jeudy is a ceiling play. Kirk is a floor play. I hope that helps. It's a tough call, but in a good way. These are good options. King Marcella, what's up, King? Do you put in Peoples-Jones or Palmer for your wide receiver 3? I'd go Palmer in full PPR. I would go Palmer. He's going to operate as Herbert's wide receiver 1. No Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams, and last week he had 10 targets, 8 catches, 106 yards. I like Peoples-Jones as a deep play, a deep upside ceiling play. I do. I like DPJ. But he's not. Amari Cooper is the team's wide receiver 1. Palmer is going to be his team's wide receiver 1 tomorrow, and the 49ers lost Jason Verrett for the season to a torn Achilles. So the matchup, I hate that for Verrett, but for Palmer, the matchup gets a little easier. And you have Swift and Jamal Williams. I would play both of those guys over Toney and Hollins. Yes. Toney, I got to see something. I got to see something before I fire him up. And Hollins Hollins might do fine for you tomorrow, but he's got a floor of like 3 or 4 points. Like Darren Waller was out last week. Hunter Renfrow did very little last week, and Hollins only caught 2 balls for 17 yards. So just because Waller and Renfrow are out doesn't automatically make me feel like Hollins is a shoo-in for my lineup. I would play your Lions running backs, especially now in a matchup where there could be a lot of points put on the board. Maybe they both catch passes. Palmer, Swift, Jamal Williams. For what it's worth, I would play Peoples-Jones over Toney or Hollins, but doesn't sound like you have that option. Palmer and your Lions. Cap for life. What's up, Cap? Do you pick up Higbee or Mac Hollins? So just for this week, look, I know Higbee hasn't been good recently, but they're playing the Cardinals. The Cardinals couldn't stop anybody any one of us in here, whether it's me or any one of you guys. We could line up at tight end for the Rams tomorrow, and we would probably get 5 catches for 40 yards. The Cardinals can't defend tight ends. They let up production against every single tight end. The Cardinals are like, here you go. Here's your best week of the year. The Cardinals cannot stop any tight end. We could all line up as a tight end tomorrow for the Rams and catch a pass. I'm sorry. Higbee. I would pick up Higbee. The Cardinals cannot stop tight ends. I would pick up Higbee, and I would unless you have Kelsey, Ertz, Goddard, Hawkinson. Who else am I missing? Freiermuth, Dulcich, I guess, is in that conversation now too. Like, unless you have any one of those obvious options, I'm playing Higbee. Yeah. Cardinals can't stop a nosebleed at the tight end position. And okay, and John, you said you're. I mean, yeah. It's never bad. You can always try with trades. You never know. If you can get Olave for Mitchell and Palmer, yes, absolutely, yes. The worst they can say is no. And I think you're offering considering they're the person who has McCaffrey, they should have a little bit of interest in that package. Yes, John, I think that's a good move. And Mayan got you. Hopefully that helps. Claypool ceiling, Holland's floor. But good luck tomorrow. Good luck to everybody tomorrow, of course. Let's see. Would Allen be limited if he plays? Man, I think you got to just play him. There's maybe a little bit of concern. Plus, there's concern that he re-aggravates the elbow. But it's Josh Allen we're talking about. We're talking about when he steps in, when he's under center for the Buffalo Bills. He, at least at kickoff, he is QB1. He is overall QB1. I think you got to play Allen. If you have Josh Allen, you got to play Allen. Those are some beautiful backup options to have in Tua and Fields. But this is Josh freaking Allen we're talking about. I think you got to just fire him up. You got to fire him up. Yeah. And yeah, Saints are it's a struggle this year. But at least they got Olave. He's awesome. JXC, what's up, Jay? Ertz or Everett in full PPR? I know Murray is banged up with the hamstring injury, but if I have a top 5 tight end, I gotta play the top 5 tight end. I gotta play Ertz. I do like Everett, but Everett's been giving you some boring floor plays recently, even with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams out of the lineup. And it's not a good matchup by the numbers. Ertz. John, you can offer Curtis Samuel and Aaron Jones for Chubb. That's fine. I want to make, if your you have Chase and Hopkins, you have Gibson, Madison, and Elijah Mitchell. Okay. If you have a good record and you can afford to wait on Jamar Chase to come back, then fine. Fine. If you have a good record and you can afford to wait on Jamar Chase, then yeah, I would do that trade. I love Aaron Jones, but let's call a spade a spade. Nick Chubb has just been better this year. Rico Baptiste, Pickens, Burks, or Kyron Williams, rest of season. If I can only pick one, Pickens, and it's not close. Burks has been injured. I know he's activated. He's coming back, but that's a train wreck of a situation in Tennessee. Tannehill inspires no confidence for me at this point. And if it's Malik Willis, he's developing. I can't trust anybody as far as anybody other than Derrick Henry in that offense. And Kyron Williams is we'll see. Hopefully he's able to give them something, but he might be splitting time with Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers. Pickens is proven and has put up wide receiver 2 numbers this year somewhat consistently. Maybe wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 numbers. But of those 3, it's Pickens easily. Yep. Joe Harris, good to see you, man. Happy Saturday. Full PPR, Schultz or Everett? Schultz? Rashawn Gary is now out for the season for the Packers, so that's a huge loss for their linebackers. It's not a good matchup by the numbers, but they just lost Rashawn Gary for the season. And Schultz, prior to the bye week, had started to come on strong. 6 for 74, 5 for 49. I think I would go Schultz. I like Everett, but Everett's been giving boring floor plays like the past 3 or 4 weeks. Schultz. And which 4 would I start between Tyreek is in. Metcalf is in. Palmer's in. Tyreek, Pittman, Gabe Davis, DPJ, Palmer, or Metcalf. Tyreek, DK, and Josh Palmer are slam dunks for me from this group. And then for me, it's between Gabe Davis and DPJ. I can't trust Michael Pittman right now with Sam Ehlinger. The Colts are a train wreck. I think I slightly lean DPJ, Joe. I think you can afford to roll the dice on a DPJ ceiling game because you have anchors in Tyreek and DK Metcalf. And then Palmer gave you a 8-catch, 106-yard output last week as the Chargers wide receiver 1. DPJ. Gabe is a guy who can give you 20 points, but he could also give you 5 points. DPJ has been rock solid, giving you 10 points, like that sweet spot. I think that's my answer. Tyreek, obviously. DK, obviously. I think Palmer's an obvious start this week, given these options. And I'll say DPJ over Gabe and Michael Pittman. Yep, that's where I'm at. Plus, it's a great matchup for DPJ. Good matchup by the numbers against the Dolphins, and the Dolphins' offense scores lots of points. Could be a shootout down in Miami tomorrow. Jamon, what's going on? I hope I pronounced that correctly. 10-team standard. You're giving Kupp and Ertz. You're getting Kelsey and Devontae Smith. You need wins. This looks pretty fair. I like Devontae Smith. I think I need a slightly more consistent receiver. You're getting Kelsey, which is awesome. But Ertz is a top 5 tight end this year in his own right. It's a big drop-off, no doubt. But I think it's a bigger drop-off going from Kupp to Devontae Smith. Can you get a slightly better receiver than Devontae Smith? And your argument is that you're giving up a top 2 or 3 wide receiver in Kupp and a top 5 receiver in Ertz. Yes, Kelsey is that dude, but I think your package warrants you being allowed to ask for a slightly better receiver than Devontae. Now, I like Devontae this week. He's going up against Washington. He murdered Washington week 3. 8 catches, 169 yards, and a touchdown. He crushed them. But so far, it's been the A.J. Brown show this year in Philly. And Devontae has had some, for fantasy purposes, he's had some uninspiring floor plays this week, this year, a little bit more frequently than you'd like. I would try to ask for a slightly better option than Devontae Smith. If you can't get it, I think it's fair for you to ask for another depth player, like a depth running back. And I know, we're talking about Travis Kelce here, right? You're getting Travis Kelce. You can't ask for more. You're giving up Kupp, who he's been his usual monster Cooper Kupp self, and Zach Ertz has been a top 5 tight end as well. Devontae Smith has not been a top 5 receiver. See what I'm getting at? I think you are within your right to ask for either a slightly better receiver than Devontae or an extra depth piece, maybe a depth running back in addition to Devontae Smith. So I would do some negotiation. And if that's a hard no, if the guy's like, no, it's take it or leave it. I might stay put. I would try to get an extra piece out of that, though. I love Devontae Smith, but he's the clear 4th guy, the 4th best guy here in this 4-team trade. When you factor in position and all that stuff. Zach D, what's going on, Zach? Pierce, Godwin, or Cooper at flex in full PPR? Ooh, that's a tough call. These are some really good options. I love Chris Godwin, but he hasn't scored yet this year, I don't think. Right? He hasn't scored. And that could change any given week, but he came back early from the torn ACL. He's given you some rock solid performances. Yeah, he hasn't scored yet this year. But even still, he's giving you like 7 catches, 6 catches, 7 catches. He's a layup. Godwin is a layup for like 6 or 7 catches. Now, the yardage varies, right? It could be 40 yards, it could be 90 yards. I think I got to put Pierce over Godwin. The question is, do I put Pierce over Cooper as well? 5 for 131, 3 for 74, 4 for 44 and a touchdown, 7 for 76 and a touchdown. Damn. Cooper's been money this year. I think your safe play here, Zach, is Cooper. I think your safe play with upside is Cooper. I don't want to sit Damian Pierce. I don't want to sit Godwin either. I don't want to sit any of these guys. I think your safe play as far as consistency this year is Cooper. The matchup is great. The Browns should have to throw the ball, right? Miami is an electric offense. They should put points on the board against a bad Browns defense. That should force the Browns to have to throw the ball. I love Dameon Pierce. He's been absolute money this year, but it is a tough matchup by the numbers. I think Cooper is your safe play here in full PPR. That's tough. Who are your starting running backs? Just out of curiosity. Yeah. Just out of curiosity. Who are your starting running backs? These are good options, Zach, to have, which can make it difficult to make a decision. But I think your safe play with upside still is Cooper. And Jay, I got to sit one between Waddle, CD, Palmer, or Pierce. Boy, Palmer. There's no way in hell I'm sitting Waddle. There's no way in hell I'm sitting CD. I don't want to sit Palmer, but between Palmer and Dameon Pierce, I got to play Dameon Pierce. Now, between Dameon Pierce and Amari Cooper in full PPR, I think I got to I hate sitting Pierce, but I think I got to play Cooper if I can't play both. But between Pierce and Palmer, no disrespect to Palmer and especially what he did last week, but I got to go with Pierce. So I'm sitting Palmer here, Jay. And Jim, back to your thing about Kirk, Judy, and Lazard. You have those guys starting, not Lazard. Okay, you have Lawrence as your quarterback, and you started DJ Moore. Oy, okay, that's all right. Yeah, go Kirk and Lazard because you have Trevor Lawrence, so take the stack. But if you just look at the numbers, man, Lazard has been, believe it or not, he might be force-fed the ball. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Go Kirk and Lazard, especially because you have Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, play the stack. Play your stack. Because if Kirk I don't need to explain this to you. If Kirk catches a touchdown, boom, double the points. I do like Jerry Jeudy for what it's worth. I think he should be starting for you over DJ Moore rest of season, as long as he's healthy. He's a big play waiting to happen. Jeudy is low. I feel like people forget this, or maybe not. Jeudy is one of the fastest dudes at the wide receiver position. He's a big play waiting to happen. And how do I feel about Pickens rest of season in full PPR? He's got wide receiver 2 upside. It's very clear Pickett likes throwing to him, and Chase Claypool's gone. He's wide receiver 2 rest of season. Maybe not every week, but he's got that upside he has that upside every single week. He's good. Pickens is good. Cadillac. What's up, Cadillac? Thank you for coming in. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for everybody's patience. I know we're getting sort of closer to the end of the chat here. Appreciate everybody's patience as I work through these questions. Hopefully this has been helpful. Start Jeff Wilson or Connor this week. I think I'm starting Jeff Wilson. I think I'm starting Wilson. I like Connor. Connor should be fine for 10 points. But I think the Cardinals' like entire offensive line is out for this game. I think Rodney Hudson is on IR. I think both of their starting guards are injured. Let's double check this injury report, shall we? Cardinals injury report for week 10. Max Garcia is out. Will Hernandez has not practiced this week. Rodney Hudson is out. I think he's on IR. Kevin Beecham, he should play. He's a backup. Cody Ford looks like he should play, but he only got a limited practice in on Friday. He's banged up. This whole offensive line is injured. The Cardinals' entire offensive line is injured, and they got to deal with Aaron Donald. Wilson. Jeff Wilson, Cadillac. I can't believe that's where we are, but that's where we are. If you can stomach getting like 7-8 points from James Conner, then sure. Fine. Just, again, the Cardinals are, man, that makes me feel even worse about Kyler Murray's hamstring injury. Jesus, don't let Kyler Murray get killed tomorrow. Yeah. Their entire offensive line is banged up. Wilson. What's up, Iron? Good to see you, man. Pollard, Jamal, or Najee in non-PPR. When do the Cowboys play? Are they a 4:30 game? They are. This makes it very difficult because Jamal Williams and Najee are both in the 1 o'clock slate. Iron, it depends. If you're in a situation where you feel like you could have, if you end up playing Pollard and he's the backup to Zeke, but maybe it doesn't hurt you because the rest of your team is good. I want to wait on Pollard. I want to wait and see if Zeke gets ruled out. Because if Zeke gets ruled out, Pollard is a top 5 option tomorrow. Now, if Zeke plays, Pollard might still have some decent upside, but especially because Zeke is on the injury report and it's coming down to the wire as to whether he's going to play or not. But I want to wait on Pollard. Is there anybody, Iron, else you can pivot to who's playing in the 4 o'clock slate or later in the event that Zeke plays? Is there anybody you have in the 4 o'clock games or Sunday night or Monday night who you could also turn to? Because I want to wait on Pollard, because if Zeke is ruled out, I want to play Pollard over these guys. Let me know. Mark, PPR, Moreau, Cole Kmet, or Knox? Cole Kmet, I think. Cole Kmet. Knox is too hard to trust. He needs a touchdown to come through. Maybe he sees a few more looks with Allen's elbow bothering him. Maybe. Moreau is good. Moreau usually fills in nicely when Darren Waller doesn't play. But the Bears have the momentum as far as playing well on offense. The past 3 weeks for Moreau since the bye week when Waller hasn't played: 2 catches, 42 yards, 6 catches, 31 yards, 3 catches, 28 yards. So he's giving you some boring tight end floor plays. And he could score tomorrow. It's not a scary matchup by the numbers. And with no Hunter Renfrow in addition to Darren Waller, he should see some extra looks. But the Raiders aren't playing that well right now. The Bears are playing well on offense. It feels like they figured some things out. I think I'm chasing the Cole Kmet points, Mark. Never thought I'd say that. I think I'm going to wait on Cole. I think I'm going to play Cole Kmet. As far as Kyler or Trevor Lawrence, oh, man. Depends on your situation. If you're an underdog, keep Murray in there. If you think you can get away with what might be a boring floor performance, Lawrence. At least he's healthy. And Kyler's got his whole... Remember, not only is Kyler dealing with the hamstring injury, but his entire offensive line is injured right now. They're all banged up. He's got a bunch of backups in front of him tomorrow against Aaron Donald on a bad hamstring. If you're an underdog, maybe like a 20-point underdog or worse, then screw it. You might as well roll the dice on Murray. But I think I might pivot actually to Lawrence. The more I think about it, the more I think it makes sense in neutral situations. If it's a 50-50 toss-up matchup or you're a favorite, you maybe want to play it safe and pivot off of Kyler Murray. The more I think about it, anybody. If you're an underdog, just play Murray and hope for the upside. But if you're a favorite or it's neutral, you might want to play it safe. Damn, I don't want to sit Kyler Murray, but his situation stinks tomorrow. His situation stinks tomorrow. And yeah, agreed. You need a better wide receiver in that Kelsey trade, but you're welcome for the advice. Hopefully that helps. Don't be afraid to negotiate. Negotiating is what makes trades so much fun in fantasy, right? That's the fun part. Jones, Dillon, Foreman, Hubbard. Oh, this is a big trade. Oh, we talked about this a little bit in the Discord earlier. So the Packers backs, Foreman, and the Panthers backs for Chubb, Hunt, Singletary. Sure. Because I'd rather Chubb is, I'd rather have Chubb than Aaron Jones or Donta Foreman, and I'd rather have Kareem Hunt than AJ Dillon or Chuba Hubbard. And you're getting Singletary as well. Yes, I would do the trade. I would do that. I would do that because the Browns' backfield is going to get a boost when Deshaun Watson comes back. Yeah, I'd rather have the starter than the starters of your current backfields. I'd rather have the backup than the backups of your current backfields. And you're picking up Devin Singletary? Yes, do that trade. Yes, do that trade. Yes. If it's on the table, smash the shit out of that. Smash accept. And how do I value Amon-Ra rest of season? I still think he can be a top 15 player with upside for more, but he's been a wide receiver 3 recently, and on the road he's been worse. The Lions are hard to trust on the road, at least as far as Jared Goff. They haven't been as good. I want to believe Amon-Ra is a top 15 wide receiver rest of season, and I think from a talent perspective he is, but it hasn't materialized in the way of actual fantasy production. He's been more of a wide receiver 3 recently. That includes last week without TJ Hawkinson, without Josh Reynolds. And they were at home. They were at home and he had a wide receiver 3 performance. He's like in the top 20-ish range. Maybe he's in that 15 to 18 range, maybe more like 17 to 20 range. If you can get him for super cheap, then fine. But at this point, I can't believe I'm saying this. I think I might rather have a guy like Donta Foreman than Amon-Ra. I guess it depends on my team needs. If I'm loaded at running back, then yeah, maybe I trade Foreman for Amon-Ra. But if I'm not, then I'm keeping Foreman. So yeah, he's a buy low, but be careful. The production just hasn't been there for the past month. Honestly, dating back to like week 3 or 4 since he got hurt. Maybe he's working his way back from injury, but that was a month ago or longer. A little tough to trust. God damn it. I'm getting hit by bots. Sorry, everybody. We'll hide these. We'll hide these scrubs. All right, they're hidden. They're hidden. Now they got to let me scroll up. Shoot. All right, here we go. Okay, Zach, you have Kamara and Barkley. Cooper. I would play Cooper in full PPR. You got anchors at running back. play one of your wide receiver ones in your flex. That's what I would do. The bots hacked my studio chat. Now it's like not zooming up, but I have the link video pulled up as well, so at least I can still do this. I can still see questions in here. And Iron, you picked McCaffrey with that best ball 101. I think that was the smart play, and it makes sense that you can't trade picks in best ball. They'll shut that down real quick. It makes sense. You gotta, everybody keeping their own picks 1 through 12 or 1 through 10 or whatever it is, and then snake rounds. Like, that's the fairest way to play best ball. Yeah, you got to keep it. Yeah. Otherwise, you could front load all your picks. There's no way. It's not like it's a redraft where somebody gets hurt and you can flip picks later. Best ball, you're stuck with your rosters. It makes sense that you can't trade picks. Gabe or Pollard? Yeah, Pollard. Even if Zeke plays, it's hard to trust Gabe right now. With a banged up Josh Allen. It's a good matchup by the numbers, but we got back-to-back weeks for Gabe. 2 catches, 33 yards, 2 catches, 35 yards. That's not going to get it done. Now, it is a good matchup by the numbers, and Gabe, when healthy, has fired in good matchups this year. But now Allen's dealing with this damn elbow injury. I think Pollard is a perfectly safe play to pivot to. Jim Bob, what's happening? You're 5-4. You lost Brees. Sorry to hear that. He was going off. But you have Dak, you have Cordero Patterson, you have Dalvin Cook, you have Tyreek Hill. Nice. Ayuk. I like Ayuk. You have Dulcich, you have Pierce. This is good. You have Lamar, Rachaad White, Jeff Wilson, Burks, Tony, and Garrett Wilson. Trade Dak after this week, Jim Bob. If it's a one quarterback league, don't hold 2 good quarterbacks. Trade one of them. I would, and I'm not trading Lamar. Well, I mean, Lamar would give you a bigger return. I would look for Jim Bob. I would look for a team in your league that might need a quarterback. Maybe they're, if somebody was streaming quarterbacks, or if they're rocking with like Russell Wilson or Matthew Stafford or whatever, they've got some crappy options. I would try to trade Dak and maybe try to get either a depth play at receiver or running back. Your squad looks fine, and 5-4 is okay. You're okay. Obviously, everybody wants to win more games, right? You'd rather be 7-2, but you're fine. You got a winning record with about 4 weeks to go before the fantasy playoffs, 5 weeks to go before the fantasy playoffs, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Math is hard. You got 5 weeks to go before the fantasy playoffs with a winning record. You're okay. You're fine. But I would try to trade one of your quarterbacks. And you're streaming. I mean, the Raiders are fine to fire up this week against the Colts, but you're not sticking with them week to week. But you're okay. You're fine. I would try to trade one of those quarterbacks. And offer Dak and Jeff Wilson, or Dak and Kadarius Toney, or Dak and Garrett Wilson, and try to upgrade at a different position. Because Lamar's coming back after his bye week this week, and you're not going to need Dak anymore. I would try to trade Dak with one of your depth pieces for a better player. I would try to do Dak and Jeff Wilson for a better running back, because your running backs are a little thin. I mean, Pierce, Dalvin Cook, Patterson, really strong. But other than that, if one of those guys goes down, like Dalvin Cook, now all of a sudden you're pretty thin at running back. I would try to find another running back to get. And if you offer Wilson in addition to Dak, you should be able to get a pretty good player. Don't try to trade for another quarterback. You already have an anchor. You have your QB1 in Lamar. Try to trade for another running back. Get another running back. But hope that helps. 5-4 is fine. You'll be all right. Iron, would I pick Stevenson, Adams, Stevenson, Allen, or Stevenson, Pierce? Adams. Adams. If it would be Allen slam dunk, but there were original reports that he was going to miss this game. There were original reports that he was going to miss the next 3 or 4 weeks. In best ball, like in a modified best ball where it's mid-season, I can't pick a third-round pick who is, one re-aggravation away from missing a month. Adams. Now, oh, shit. Adams might get suspended from that incident with the cameraman. Depends on your risk tolerance, Iron, but I guess, now considering Adams might get suspended, I guess I would go Allen. Cadillac, you're going up. It looks like you're going up against the anchor. How did he end up with all of those pieces? I guess he got Cup first. Okay, actually, this isn't so unbelievable. He got Cup first round, Hill second round, Chubb third round, or maybe those two were flip flopped. ETN must have fallen in your draft, man. And then Pierce was like a 5th round pick. Yeah, dang, nicely done by that guy. But hey, this is why we play the games, right? And Iron, if you're looking like you're in good shape, I would wait on Pollard. I would wait on Pollard over Najee and who was the other guy? Jamal. I would wait on Pollard. And Cadillac, you have Fields, so you're fine. Jacobs, fine. I would play Wilson over Connor. Hopkins, fine. Debo, fine. Amon-Ra, fine. Kelsey, Hawkinson. Should you trade Jacobs and Kelsey for Henry and Walker? I would try to do that, but with Hawkinson. I would not trade Kelsey. Try to do Jacobs, Hawkinson, and Connor for Henry and Walker. See if that gets it done. Keep Kelsey. Don't trade Kelsey. I would trade Hawkinson. Unfortunately, Pitts is not going to get the deal done. I would offer Jacobs, Hawkinson, and Connor for Henry and Walker. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. And Jim Bob, you're welcome. Yeah, I wouldn't shoot for Tua. You have your guy. You have Lamar. Try to get a running back. I would offer Dak and Jeff Wilson for an upgrade at running back. I'm trying to think who you could potentially ask for. Depends on who needs what. Go check your league. Who needs a quarterback, right? Who's like this guy would be an up, or Dak would be an upgrade. Offer Wilson and see who their RB2 is and see if you can get him. I would try that. We are coming up on the end of the chat. Bronson, I see your question. I'll answer that shortly. Just letting everybody know we will be wrapping this up shortly. There will not be a stream tomorrow again because of the international game, because of the Munich game. I will be available in the Discord tomorrow answering questions between the morning and leading up to the 1:00 slate. If you are not in our Discord and you would like to be, it is the third link in the description of this video. You can join that evergreen invite. You don't need to be a member of our channel to join the Discord. We got an awesome community of people over there who are always willing to talk shop, always willing to talk fantasy with you guys. I jump in there as much as I possibly can to help out as well, answer questions, just talk shop, shoot the shit, whatever. If you might have any other questions, or you think you might have any questions between tomorrow morning and the 1:00 slate, I will be in there. Again, no stream tomorrow for the Munich game. But appreciate everybody coming in. Appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out with questions, commentary, all that good stuff. All very much appreciated. But let's make sure we get this. Let's make sure we wrap this up. And you already know, Iron, I will be awake at 6:30 my time 6:30 a.m. my time watching that Munich game. But Bronson picked 2 to start. Zeke, Thielen, Pickens, DPJ. Well, Zeke is like down to the wire, might not play. I'm playing Pickens from this group. And I think everybody else in this group is in the 1 o'clock window. So I'm not messing around with Zeke Bronson because he's a true game time call. Apparently his knee is still bothering him. That's not a good sign, especially still coming out of the bye week. The Cowboys just had their bye week and Zeke is still a game time call. I don't feel good about that. So I'm playing Pickens for sure. Thielen is a floor play. DPJ is it's a little dicey calling DPJ a ceiling play because he's been more of a floor play recently, but he is their deep threat. I do think points are going to be scored in Miami tomorrow. The Browns can't stop anybody on defense. I think the Dolphins will have no issue scoring tomorrow, which means the Browns offense is going to have to keep pace, which means they may need to dial up some more big plays, some more deep shots down the field. That would mean DPJ is a big part of their game plan. Thielen is your rock solid, safe veteran floor play. If you think you can get away with a floor performance, if you're an underdog tomorrow and you feel like you need to take some shots, Peoples-Jones. Pickens and Thielen if you think you can play it safe. Pickens and DPJ if you think you need upside. Hopefully that helps. And yeah, man, they play tomorrow, Iron. Hop on that train. I bet tickets for that game are super expensive. Are they playing in Bayern's stadium? Where is that game? Playing in Bayern Munich stadium? Now I just want to look up what stadium they're in. What's the location? Alliance Arena? Oh, yeah, Bayern, FC Bayern. Yeah, Bayern Stadium. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's the home of Bayern Munich, right? 70,000. That's going to be rocking. It's going to be rocking. And Bronson, should you trade Kamara for Ramondre and D-Hop or AJ Brown? Yeah. Either receiver. Take your pick. I don't care. Like whichever one your preference is. You're talking about 2 anchors, 2 studs. AJ Brown is on the better team. Hopkins has the track record. Take your pick. If you can swing that deal, yes, I would absolutely do that. I would absolutely do that. On the flip side, Cadillac, would you trade Hawkinson and Jacobs for Kamara? I would be willing to go. I would try to go a step further. I would try to include Connor in that deal and try to get a second player. I know Jacobs has been kind of quiet the past couple weeks, but he's put up big RB1 performances, multiple big RB1 performances this year. I guess that's fine. But Jacobs had a 3-week stretch, 144-2, 154-1, 143-3. Like, oh man, he had nearly 100 yards from scrimmage last week. I guess the schedule gets a little tougher by the numbers as the season winds down. Yeah, I guess you can do that. That's fine, because you still have Kelsey. Yeah, that's fine. I would see if you can get like a wide receiver 3 or something out of the deal. Because Jacobs has been awesome this year. He's been a little quieter the past couple of weeks, but I think you're within your right to ask for another depth piece. You're not going to get another good player, but I think you're within your right to ask. Austin, would you start James Robinson and Michael Carter? Oh, you're talking about next week. Who are the Jets playing? Depends on, I guess, Austin, it depends on your other options. Like who are your other guys that you could start? Who are the Jets playing? The Patriots on the road? Oi. Uh I'd probably look at other options. I don't know if I want to play both of them on the road in New England. That's a tough sell, Austin. That's a tough sell. I would hope I have other options that I can pivot to. You might have to start one of those dudes, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We're here every weekend, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern. So we'll be here next Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern. There's no international game next week. So we'll be here Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern as well, to figure this type of stuff out. But I don't think I would play both of those guys against the Patriots. I would probably try to pick one and hope for the best. Maybe Robinson. I think Carter can catch passes too. They can both catch passes. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but I would not play both. What's the value on Justin Herbert? Sure. Yeah, this is a scenario where you might as well hang on to Herbert. Like, you can hang on to two quarterbacks. Rock with Fields for now. If he keeps balling out, then great. He keeps balling out. If he starts to sputter in tougher matchups, then you can pivot to Herbert. Hopefully he gets over the rib injury soon. Hopefully he gets at least Mike Williams back. I'm officially not banking on Keenan Allen anymore. Like, whatever he can do this year is officially gravy. I don't even know, does he play this year again? Like, it's hard to feel good about Keenan Allen in any capacity moving forward. Yeah, that's tough to feel good about. But I would hang on to Justin Herbert. He's at least a QB1. All right. Juke, you've Eckler, Chubb, and Dameon Pierce, Waddle, Kirk. This is a really good team. Should I try to pair an RB and wide receiver from one of the top? I would let this ride, man. You already have two top 5 running backs in Eckler and Chubb. You have Dameon Pierce, who's probably easy top 15. Waddle's top 7. Chase is top 5 when he comes back. DK, Judy, Christian Kirk is about as damn good. I mean, you can try if you want to package Dameon Pierce and Christian Kirk and see if you can get a better wide receiver, or then sure, you can try. But I think you're fine. I think that team is really good. I think you let that ride. I'm not trading Eckler. I'm not trading Chubb. I'm not trading Waddle, and I'm not trading Chase. I mean, you could try to trade Chase straight up right now for somebody like Cooper Kupp or Stephon Diggs. But even then, I don't know if I want to do that. I guess you could try to do Kirk and Dameon Pierce, or Judy and Dameon Pierce, and try to get another stud running back. I guess you could try that. But honestly, I think you can let this ride. I think you're fine. I think you're fine. John agrees. Yup. Tommy, full PPR. Jeff Wilson, Christian Kirk, or Devontae Smith. I think Kirk. I think you got to go Kirk. In full PPR against the Chiefs. I do like Devontae Smith on Monday night, for what it's worth. Devontae Smith killed Washington in week 3 when they last played. But he has been a little up and down. Kirk's been a little bit more consistent. And in full PPR, I think I lean Kirk. Kirk is a safe play with enough upside where I feel okay about starting Kirk. But yeah, like you said, either one is good. Either one of those. Jeff Wilson would be fine too, but Kirk and Devontae Smith are going to play every snap. Wilson's going to see like 50% of the snaps. Mostert is still going to mix in. Kirk, I would go Kirk. Kenson Paris. What's up, Kenson? You have Henry, Jacobs, Walker, and Taylor. Who should you bench this week? Wolf. Well, you're not benching Henry. And I don't think you're benching Walker. Are you benching Jacobs? Are you benching Jacobs this week? I don't want to. You're going to have a good. There's a good chance, Kenson, you're going to have a good performance on your bench. Henry and Walker have to be in, I think. Walker's been an absolute monster recently. The argument against Taylor is it's his first game back after re-aggravating the ankle injury, and it's a bad Colts offense. The argument against Jacobs is, yes, he's exploded this year in multiple games, but he's also had a couple of quieter games the past couple weeks. Jacobs, in this situation, Jacobs is your floor play. Taylor is your ceiling play. If you think you can play it safe, I would play Jacobs and wait a week on Taylor. If you think you need some upside and can't wait, then play Taylor, bench Jacobs. Some really good options. Henry and Walker have to be in. And John agrees. Appreciate, if anybody wants to help out with anybody's questions before I get to it, feel free. That's encouraged. Absolutely. We appreciate the constructive dialogue here at Facemask Fantasy. Kyle Sainer, what's up, Kyle? Pollard, Jones, Monty, pick one. Godwin, Lockett, pick one. And one flex out of them all. Okay. Godwin is a man. I feel like Lockett's been rock solid this year. Like Lockett's been a wide receiver 1. Man. In full PPR, I want to say Godwin, Lockett, and Aaron Jones are your starters, Kyle. If I want to play Pollard, but obviously we are not going to know about Zeke's status until Godwin and Lockett are both in the Munich game tomorrow, so that's early. And then Aaron Jones, okay, actually they play in the same game. Here's what I'm doing, Kyle. Here's what I'm doing. I got you. I got this. You're playing Godwin. You're playing Lockett. If Jones and Pollard are in the same game, you're playing Godwin. You're playing Lockett. If Zeke is out, you play Pollard. If Zeke is in, you play Aaron Jones. That's what we're doing. Montgomery to the bench. You're playing Pollard if Zeke is out. If Zeke is in, you're playing Aaron Jones. Play both of those wide receivers. Yep. Godwin and Lockett, one wide receiver, one flex. Doesn't matter. They're both in the same game. Aaron Jones is your running back if Zeke is in. Pollard is your running back if Zeke is out. Did I get a James Hammer? Holy hell. Thank you, man. Appreciate the super. Appreciate that very much. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. Let's see what we got here. Quarterback is Hurts. Nice. Running backs are Walker, ETN, Pierce. Nice. Herbert, Warren, Kyron Williams on IR. Nice. Okay. Amon-Ra, Waddle, Pickens. Okay. Very cool. Love Waddle. You got DPJ. Nice. Pitts, Hurts at tight end. What's your record? You're trying to decide what to do as far as a trade. Like, what is your situation? I guess in theory, you want a tight end. Your running backs are rock solid. I'm not trading Walker. I'm not trading ETN. I'm not trading Pierce. Okay. You have 3 good receivers. Do you only start 1, or do you start 2, or do you start 3? Tony is a wait and see. I don't think you can trade him. If somebody's hype on Tony, then I would trade him. I like that. You do like double. Okay. You do like you count records twice, one for wins over. I like that a lot. Okay. I like that a lot. Is it 2 receiver, 2 flex, or 3 receiver, 2 flex? It might be 2 receiver if it's 2 flex spots. Then that makes me, then you can start all 3 of those top 3 receivers each week. 2 wide receivers, 2 flex. Okay. Van Jefferson is a drop. I mean, I guess you can hold him because let's see if he can, do anything now that he's back from this injury that has taken until like week 8 for him to come back. Yeah, I would see if you can turn. Yeah, I kind of like. Yeah, see, Pitts has no value right now. That's the problem. I don't think you're going to be able to get anything for Pitts. Yeah, if you package him for Amon Ra with Amon Ra, yeah, maybe you get an upgrade at tight end. You could try to do that, but you're going to be thin at wide receiver. That's the drawback here. I do like DPJ. Hold DPJ, and you might be able to start him tomorrow, depending on your. So ETN, Pierce, Walker. No, never mind. You can't start DPJ tomorrow, because you can start all three of those running backs and all three of those receivers. And you get Njoku coming back. You're gonna have to wait. You have to wait a little while for the Njoku coming back. I think you hold. I think you hold for now, James. I think these are good pieces, but I don't. Tony doesn't have much value as far as a depth option in a trade. Van Jefferson has no value right now in a trade. I'd be curious to know who's on your wire who you could add for Van Jefferson. In Njoku, you're fine. You just have to wait. I guess Pitts can hold it down for now until Njoku comes back. You're not upgrading at quarterback. You have Jalen Hurts. Enough said. Yeah, I think you're fine here. You can see what you get in Kyron Williams. Like maybe you can turn Kyron Williams and Tony into like another wide receiver 3. Depends on what Kyron Williams can show tomorrow. Not that we're expecting much tomorrow, but in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, it also depends on when your trade deadline is. It could be coming up very soon. I think you hold. I think Van Jefferson is not a hold, depending on some of the options on the wire. I like that you have DPJ. I would not drop him. And Waddle's, Waddle's on bye next week, so you can fire him up. Yeah, I think you stay. I think you stay exactly where you're at. You have a winning record. This is a team that will score points for you. I think you're fine, James. I really do. I think you're fine. I do. You've got really good running backs that you can rely on. You can fire up rest of the season and not think twice about it. Same deal. Like Waddle's a top 7 wide receiver. Pickens has wide receiver 2 upside rest of season. Amon-Ra's been kind of a wide receiver 3-ish. You're hoping for more for Amon-Ra, but obviously he's clearly better than DPJ, Van Jefferson, or Tony. The guy who's replaceable here for you is Van Jefferson. Depending on who's on your wire, I'd be curious to know. Pitts, it's going to be tough to upgrade from because I'm sure nobody wants Pitts right now, right? I love Kyle Pitts. I have him in Dynasty. I know I'm going to have to, I have to wait for him. This isn't necessarily the year, but you already have Njoku, who you can go right back to firing up as soon as he's healthy, and he gets a boost when Deshaun Watson comes back. I think you're good, man. I really do. Amon-Ra his value's down right now, so you'd be selling low on him anyway. He's been giving you wide receiver 3 performances, not wide receiver 1 performances or even wide receiver 2 performances since like week 3. So it'd be a sell low on Amon-Ra. It'd be a sell low on Pitts. I'm not trading any of these other dudes. Unfortunately, I like Khalil Herbert, but unless you're trading to the person who has David Montgomery, you might not get a ton. I guess you could try that. Herbert to the person who has Montgomery, and I don't know, and maybe Tony for if they have a decent wide receiver 3 or 4. But even then, I don't know if I'm crazy. If I'm crazy about that, because Warren and Kyron Williams are guys that I don't necessarily want to turn to in the event something happens to one of your top 3. Yeah, I think I stay put, James. I think you're right. I think your team is solid. It's a little more top heavy, but you've got the depth to fill out your starting lineup with really strong options up and down the board. I think you're good. I think you're good. I think you would hold. The one thing I would do here maybe is see if there's anybody else that you can pick up for Van Jefferson. And if Tony does well in Kansas City, then great. That's gravy. I'm not expecting the world. I think we might, it's possible we have to wait until next year for Tony. Again, midseason trade to a complicated, sophisticated offense. Now, Mecole Hardman is out tomorrow, so he should see a boost. You're not starting Tony tomorrow. But maybe he sees a boost in usage and work. and then he gets his value up, and then maybe he's a fill-in wide receiver for you, a bye week fill-in here and there. I think this is a good team. Yeah. I would keep Kyren Williams on IR for tomorrow. You don't need to activate Kyren Williams because you're not starting him anyway. Keep that extra roster spot. Let's see how he does. And then next week before waivers, if you have to if you need to make some adjustments, then drop Van Jefferson to activate Kyren Williams. And then maybe you drop Kyren Williams too, depending on what happens with him. By the way, we got breaking news. John Wolford is set to start, barring a drastic change. Matthew Stafford is not going to get out of concussion protocol. This is all on Sleeper. So adjust accordingly. Cooper Kupp obviously still has to be started. But fade all Rams players otherwise. Kyler Murray is going to test his hamstring pregame, but there's skepticism. So be prepared to pivot off of Kyler Murray as well. So, yeah, let's be prepared to pivot off of Kyler Murray. Boy out there, I need to pick him up in my stupid Superflex league. We're up. Done. Done. Good God. All right. So just be aware, guys, that game might suck tomorrow. That game might suck tomorrow. But yeah, Matthew Stafford looking like he's going to sit in concussion protocol. John Wolford with the start. And there's skepticism with Kyler Murray. Colt McCoy might be getting the start. Move off of Kyler Murray. Like Trevor Lawrence or Daniel Jones or Jacoby Brissett, whatever. Do not plan to play Kyler Murray. That game's going to suck. That game is going to be terrible. Let's see. Where are we at? So, James, thank you again for the super. Much appreciated. Hopefully that helps. But yeah, keep Kyren Williams stashed on IR. If your lineup is set, do nothing. Let's wait and see how things play out, and then you can drop Van Jefferson. Okay, let's see. XM Tucci, I hope I'm saying that correctly. If that's I think that's where I'm at. Yes, it is. Should you trade away Mixon and Pittman to get Diggs and Zeke? Your other running backs are Kamara and Henderson. Wide receivers are Olave, Myers, Pittman, and Dotson. I think I say no. I just because I don't know if you can, Zeke's dealing with an injury. Coming out of the bye week, Zeke is a game time decision with his knee injury. I know you would get a big upgrade going from Pittman to Diggs, but at this point, it might be a big downgrade going from Mixon to Zeke. Is there any way you can turn Pittman and Henderson into a wide receiver 2? Is there any way you can turn Pittman and Henderson into a wide receiver 2? I don't want Zeke. I get wanting to move off of Pittman, and getting Diggs would be awesome, but Mixon and you'd be relying heavily on Kamara, and I don't know that Henderson. Let's see what this Rams backfield looks like tomorrow. I don't know if Kyren Williams is going to take this over. I don't know if Cam Akers is eventually going to ever rediscover any ability to be useful. No disrespect, but let's be real, the numbers haven't been there this year. I don't know if Henderson's going to continue to get more than 40% of the snaps. I don't want to be relying on him in the event that I trade Mixon and then Zeke is not healthy. Like Pittman's in a terrible situation, but at least he's healthy. I don't want to trade for an old injured running back. So I think I say no. I keep Mixon. But if you can turn Pittman and Henderson into a wide receiver 2, then fine. And don't trade Olave. That dude is a stud. And Kenton, as far as Jacobs versus Taylor, I would say Jacobs is your floor play, Taylor is your ceiling play. It depends on what you need. Cadillac, Jacobs, TJ, and Debo for Kamara and Walker. Who are your other wide receivers? Trying to remember. Could you do Amon-Ra instead of Debo? They might not go for it. They might not go for it. Could you offer Amon-Ra and Connor? Like, I don't want to play. I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up Debo. Because then you're down to, what are you down to? Hopkins and Amon-Ra? Yeah, I don't like that as much. Would Hawkins, I would see if you could get Hawkinson and Jacobs for, could you offer Hawkinson and Jacobs for Henry? Might not get it done, but like I would throw Connor in there too if I had to. If I could get a depth piece as well. I don't know if I want to do that one, Cadillac. I don't know if I want to do that one. I don't want to give up Debo and not get a wide receiver in return. Those are some damn good running backs, make no mistake. But then you're going to be razor thin at wide receiver. If you do that trade, ask for a depth receiver in return. See if you can get a depth receiver in return. Connor LaRose, what's up, Connor? Drop Taysom for Peoples-Jones? Sure. I don't know who your tight end is, but sure. Yeah. And pick 3. Sutton, Gabe, DPJ, if you pick him up. Well, it's those 3, right? Wouldn't it be those 3? Sutton, Gabe, and DPJ? Unless there's a 4th guy that you maybe did you let me see if there's another guy that wasn't included. No. Well, yeah. So again, Connor, it depends on your tight end, right? Depends on who your tight end is. But I do want Peoples-Jones. I do want DPJ. And then pick 3 of Sutton, Gabe, and DPJ. So it would be those 3, right? Let me know if there's a 4th option in there, and let me know who your tight end is. But I would be fine. Taysom could give you 20, or he could give you 3, right? Like, it, And on the road tomorrow, I don't feel as good about Taysom. I think as long as you have a competent option at tight end, I think I'm fine dropping him. So, but yeah, let me know. Kyle, no problem. You are welcome. James, we talked through your situation. Again, hopefully that helps. And yeah, keep Kyron stashed. If you have Kyron Williams, there's no need to activate him because there's no way you can play him tomorrow. We have to see it first. So keep him on IR. Trey S., what's going on? Full PPR, Judy or Josh Palmer? Dang, I want to play both. Palmer, floor, Judy, ceiling. Depends on what you need. If you think you're an underdog, Judy. If you think you can play it safe, Palmer. Do we think Zeke is playing? It sounds like it's a game time call. If he's out, well, see, this is the problem, right? Rachaad White plays at 9:30 Eastern tomorrow. Zeke doesn't play until the 4:30 window. Oh, man, I don't want to have to pivot to Rachaad White. I like Rachaad White. I do, but he hasn't taken that job yet. As bad as we want him to, and trust me, I'm in that camp, Fournette is still going to be the starter. I would be surprised if Rachaad White got the first snap tomorrow. This isn't a Bruce Arians coaching staff anymore where maybe he, just ignores Rachaad White entirely. So White has a chance, but I think they're still going to lean on the veteran. They're still going to lean on Fournette for now. I would think. Who else, Trey? Is there anybody else in the 4 o'clock window, maybe who's on waivers that you could pivot to in the event that Zeke is out? Is there another running back that you could play? Could you put, like, I don't know, could you put Rashad White in your running back spot and then you could play both Judy and Josh Palmer? Like, could you do that? Maybe your flex is already locked in with somebody else. But I want a backup plan for sure with Zeke. I don't know if Rashad White is that backup plan, especially since we're not going to know. Like, Rashad White will have already played well in advance of Zeke playing. I would need to know who your other options are, or if there's literally anybody on the waiver wire you can pivot to. Or if you've got another running back in your flex, move that running back to your RB2 spot and put Judy and Palmer in. Maybe that's not an option. Z Killer, Sutton or McLaurin? I'm going, it's tough, but I'm going Terry. Terry played pretty well in his week 3 matchup against the Eagles. I know he played well. Let me just confirm his numbers. Yeah, this was with Wentz, but on 9 targets, 6 catches for 102 yards. Taylor Heineke hyper targets him. Courtland Sutton is hard to trust when Jerry Jeudy is healthy and in the lineup. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the numbers, and it's in the advanced numbers. Jerry Jeudy makes Sutton difficult to trust each week when he's in there and healthy. Now, it's a great matchup, but I truly believe when all things are equal, when everybody's healthy, Jerry Jeudy is the Broncos wide receiver 1, not Courtland Sutton. Terry McLaurin is the clear-cut Washington wide receiver 1, and you would think, despite the bad matchup, game script is going to be in his favor. I would go Terry. It's a great matchup for Sutton, but I don't trust Sutton when Jeudy is healthy and in the lineup. The Broncos were on bye last week, right? They were on bye week 9. The 2 games prior to the Broncos bye week, Jeudy went off. Those same 2 games, Sutton had 1 catch for 13 yards and 3 catches for 23 yards. Jerry Jeudy's the Broncos wide receiver 1 when healthy. Terry McLaurin. Is it time to drop Pitts, Rico? Nah, I'm not doing that. I mean, who are you dropping him for? And who's your replacement? I know about Kyle Pitts. I know. But, like, who are you dropping him for? And you know he's that dude where the second you drop him, somebody's going to pick him up. Somebody's going to put a claim in for him. Like, who are you? Like, that's that's my question to your question. Who are you replacing him with? Thomas Jefferson. What's going on, Thomas? We got a whopper. All right. 14-team league. Nice. Respect. Lamar's on bye. Okay. Yeah, I have Amari Cooper. Brissett or Taysom Hill at quarterback? Brissett. I'm not playing Taysom Hill tomorrow on the road. And Brissett is in a great matchup at Miami. They're giving up lots of points to opposing quarterbacks. And the Browns' defense stinks, and the Dolphins' offense is good. There should be points scored in that game tomorrow. The Browns' offense should have to keep pace, which means they have to throw. And you have Amari Cooper, so you have the stack. Brissett. That's I don't mean this to be rude. This is a rather easy call for me. Jacoby Brissett. It's a good matchup. They should have to throw. The Dolphins can score points a lot. The Browns defense stinks and gives up lots of points. Brissett. And you get the stack. If anything he throws to Amari Cooper, you already know, man, you get double the points. As far as Gronk, I think you can cut him, man. I really think that ship has sailed. I feel like he would have signed by now. He's not going to play anywhere else other than with Brady. and the Bucks stink. They're not good this year. Like the Bucks, no disrespect. I know Tom Brady can pull magic out of his ass. They're not winning the Super Bowl this year, not with that offensive line. Why would Gronk come back to be a blocker? Because that's what they would need to do. That's what they would ask of him. He would have to be a blocker. He would do that if they were 7-2, maybe, but they're 4-5. This is not a good team. Maybe, okay, fine. Maybe he comes back because now the Bucks are going on their bye week this coming week, right? They get the international game out of the way, so Gronk doesn't have to travel to Germany, right? Maybe he comes back, but like, I would feel way better about his prospects of coming back if the Bucks had a good record. But they're not a good team. They're an okay team, and again, all you got to do is put Brady in the playoffs, and anything could happen, right? I understand. I know that. But they're like, Gronk retired. I think he would return. He would unretire if they were 7-2. If it was clear they were still one of the top dogs in the league, but they're not. You are what your record says you are. Now, if it's thin and you're just holding out hope, then okay, fine. But like, you say it's thin. Maybe Cade Otton's not there anymore. Like, shit, is Tanner Hudson out there? I bet he is. Bellinger is supposed to come back soon from that eye injury, but didn't Tanner Hudson have like 3 catches for 50 yards for the Giants last week? Like, you could stash him. At least he's playing. You know? But yeah, anyway, go with Brissett. And you've got Kittle. Okay, you have Kittle at the end of the day. Your backup tight end doesn't matter. So you're good. Amari, what's happening, Amari? Half PPR, Gabe or Palmer or Deontay? Oh, Palmer. This could be a week where Deontay finally reminds everybody how good Deontay Johnson is, right? Marshawn Lattimore is out for the Saints. The Steelers are coming off their bye week, so they're rested. They've had an extra week to game plan. The Saints are coming in on a short week, right? The Saints got a little bit screwed by the schedule. Steelers coming off their bye. Saints had to play on Monday night, and now on a short week, they got to go on the road, right? That's a shitty intangible for the Saints, right? That just sucks for them. So, like, maybe that helps Deontay. He's just a little fresher than the guy he's going up against on the other side. I just don't trust Pickett, man. And Pickett has eyes for George Pickens. As for Gabe, it's a good matchup. And he's probably a perfectly fine upside play if you think you need the points. Like, if you're looking at your situation and you're like, I'm an underdog. Like, I'm a 15-point, I'm a 20-point underdog. Then fine, you could fire up Gabe and hope for the best. But his floor is like 5 points. I think I would go Palmer is your safe play here. He's going to operate as Justin Herbert's wide receiver 1 again last week. Good matchup against Atlanta, right? Because Atlanta, they're terrible on defense. 10 targets, 8 catches, 106 yards. Palmer balled out, right? And he's going to get those opportunities again. No Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams. And on the other side, for the 49ers, Jason Verrett. I hate this for Jason Verrett, but he tore his Achilles in practice this week. He's done for the season. I hope I'm wrong, but he might be done for his career. That man has dealt with 2 torn ACLs, 2 torn Achilles. He's had other injury issues. He's talented as hell, but injuries have killed his opportunity. I feel bad for Verrett, but anyway, it's a positive for development for Palmer. And they're going to have to throw because the 49ers are good. And they can put points on the board with the weapons they have on their side. I like Deontay tomorrow, but I think given these other options, we can wait a week on him. Gabe is a ceiling play if you think you're a big underdog. Otherwise, I would play Palmer, Amari. I think he's your safe option here. 8 catches, 106 yards last week. Maybe he doesn't do that again, but he should be a perfectly safe bet to score in a game where the Chargers are going to have to throw the ball. I think Palmer. Tommy, Higbee or Freiermuth? I would have said Higbee because the Cardinals can't stop anybody at tight end. But it was just reported on Sleeper not too long ago that Matthew Stafford is confirmed expected to miss tomorrow's game. It's not expected that he clears concussion protocol. So I think I would go Freiermuth. At least he has his quarterback. I guess Pickett is better than John Walford, I guess. Freiermuth is their safer play. Although it's a beautiful matchup for Higbee, but he doesn't have Stafford, so that hurts. Freiermuth. And then Dak is your quarterback. Should you drop Cousins to pick up Peoples-Jones to start instead of Thielen? I don't want to drop Cousins, but I would. This might burn me, but I would drop Cousins to pick up Peoples-Jones, and I would play Peoples-Jones over Khalil Herbert. And I would still play Thielen. The problem with Khalil Herbert is good, and it's a good matchup, but he's got a David Montgomery problem. I think I feel better about Peoples-Jones in what should be, or what very well could be, a shootout tomorrow in Miami. I feel better about Peoples-Jones than I do about Khalil Herbert. If you believe in Khalil Herbert's usage and the good matchup, then fine. Maybe keep him in there. But I wouldn't take Thielen out of my lineup. If anything, I would take Herbert out of my lineup to play Peoples-Jones. I think that's what I would do. It's dicey. But Khalil Herbert last week, 7 carries, 23 yards. I mean, he fired the 2 weeks prior. And it's a good matchup by the numbers. The Lions struggle against the run. So I understand wanting to play Herbert. He's a floor play. DPJ has a little bit more upside if you think you need an upside play, Tommy. Rico, you have Dulcich. I would keep Pitts. I would keep him on your bench. And I would play Dulcich. But I wouldn't drop Pitts. I wouldn't drop him. Amari, okay, here's the deal. Gabe is the one who's healthy, and when he has been healthy in good matchups, he has fired. He has played well in plus matchups, and this is a plus matchup for Gabe tomorrow. It's Allen. It's Allen's elbow. That's what I'm worried about. Is Herbert still? I know he's still dealing with the rib injury. So honestly, both of the quarterbacks are hurt. Allen's dealing with the elbow. Herbert is still dealing with a rib injury. And it's not a good matchup by the numbers. But again, Jason Verrett is out for the season, so Palmer gets a bit of a break. I'll still say Gabe is a ceiling play. If you're looking at your matchup and you're like, fuck, I'm a 20-point underdog. You know, I need a ceiling play. I need a big play. Like 10 points isn't going to be enough. I need 17, 18, 20. Then maybe you go Gabe. But I do think Palmer is going to be fine tomorrow. He's going to have to hog targets. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are out. Gabe could boom, but Stephon Diggs is still obviously the top guy in that Bills offense. So, and Allen wouldn't risk it if he isn't ready, but also he's a threat to re-aggravate the injury. This is, I don't mean to be facetious, but this is football. All it takes is one weird whack of the elbow, and all of a sudden that UCL strain gets even worse, right? I think I would play it safe with Palmer unless I felt like I was a big underdog. So hopefully that helps, Amari. Hopefully that helps. Chris Flores, bench two. I got to bench two of these here: Juju, Ayuk, or Palmer, and Hawkinson or Everett. I'm benching Everett. I'm playing Hawkinson. I like Everett. I do, but he's been giving floor, even without Keenan Allen, even without Mike Williams, he's been giving floor plays. Hawkinson looked good in his first game with the Vikings. What do you have, 9 for 70? I'm going back to that well in a game where the Vikings are going to have to throw against the Bills. So Everett's on the bench, and then between Juju, Ayuk, and Palmer, that's a tough choice. Ayuk is in for me. Ayuk is in. And then I think I play Juju. I don't want to bench Palmer. But I think without Mecole Hardman, Juju has put up some big performances recently. I think his past 3 weeks, Juju's given like a 15-point week in full PPR and a couple of 20, 25-point weeks his past 3 games. I think I got to go Juju, Ayuk, and Hawkinson, Chris. I think I got to bench Palmer and Everett. I don't want to bench Palmer, but you have some good, reliable options in Juju and Ayuk, who have been really good recently. And I'm benching Everett. I'm not playing Everett when I have Hawkinson. Juju, Ayuk, Hawkinson. And that's a good, I'm all right. There you go. That's a good thing. That's a good stat. That's a good thing to know. He should be fine with volume. Palmer is going to get volume probably over Gabe Davis. So yeah, fire up Palmer. Fire up Palmer. He should be just fine tomorrow night in a game where the Chargers are going to have to throw. Adam, what's going on, Adam? You need to play 2 of these 3 in a PPR league. Debo, Judy, Ayuk. Well, you're playing Debo. I'll say Ayuk it depends on your situation, Adam. If you're in a neutral situation where it's like 50-50 or you're a favorite, then play Ayuk as well. If you think you're an underdog and maybe need a big play, maybe need some upside, then I would say Judy. All 3 of these guys Debo's a layup. You have to play Debo. You have to. Either one of these other guys are good too. I'll say Ayuk is your floor play. Judy's your ceiling play. If you think you're an underdog, I might lean Judy. But Ayuk has been good as well. Ayuk has been really good. I think I might slightly lean Ayuk, actually. And I love Jerry Jeudy. I do. I really like Jeudy. I think he's in for, again, when he's not on the injury report, he's the Broncos wide receiver 1, and the proof is in the pudding the past 2 weeks, and it's a great matchup by the numbers. The Titans are getting scorched through the air. So if you prefer the matchup, Adam, if you're like, I like matchups, I like playing favorable matchups, then maybe that gives a little bump to Jeudy. But Ayuk has been rock solid with or without Debo in the lineup. Maybe Judy's a little more volatile than Ayuk, but I think Jeudy has a slightly higher ceiling. Ayuk should give you a 12, 13, 14-point floor. Jeudy can give you a 20-point ceiling. Ayuk can too, but maybe, not as, maybe he's a little bit more confirmed for a floor play than a ceiling play. So it depends on what you need. Hopefully that helps. Kels, what's going on, Kels? Darnell Mooney, Michael Pittman, DPJ, pick 1. Mooney. He's been killing it recently, and the Bears look like they have finally figured some things out on offense. I know he caught his first touchdown last week. Past couple of weeks for Mooney, just going back to from week 9 backwards. 7 for 43 and a score. 5 for 70, 3 for 53, 7 for 68, 2 for 52, 4 for 94, dating back to week 4. So he's cleared 50 yards receiving. He cleared 50 yards receiving in 5 straight weeks. Last week he didn't, but he scored a touchdown on 7 catches. Mooney, the Bears seem to have finally figured things out on offense. Pittman, I don't trust, and DPJ, I like DPJ, but not as much as Mooney. My thoughts on the Lions running backs. Both have RB2 upside. They don't. Detroit as a team doesn't play as well on the road as they do at home, so it's a little hairier. But DeAndre Swift is off the injury report. You have to play him, and honestly, Jamal Williams has been good enough where, he's a fine spot start, especially if you're dealing with some bye week issues. It's a good matchup by the numbers. The Bears aren't doing too well stopping the run. Last week, Jamal Williams in a workhorse role had 24 carries, 81 yards. So not spectacular, but he came through on volume. And he had a 2-point conversion. That rounded out as 10 points. I was like, where did he get 10 points from? He only had 81 yards. He had a 2-point conversion. Got it. They're RB2s. They're both RB2s, which is maybe more of an indictment on Swift and a vote of confidence for Jamal Williams. But Swift is off the injury report. I think you have to fire him up. And then there's probably not too many other better options you have than Jamal Williams. They're RB2s in a good matchup. Fournette, Swift, Pierce, pick 2. I hate sitting Fournette, but I think I go Swift and Pierce. Fournette's been like now. Fournette could come through with a score, but as far as yardage with Fournette recently, it's been pulling teeth. It's been like pulling teeth, and the Seattle defense has been playing much better recently. Like, don't let the favorable matchup fool you. Yes, it's still a good matchup by the numbers, but Seattle's been playing much better recently. But just like 19 yards rushing, 24 yards rushing, 19 yards rushing the past 3 weeks. He got 1 touchdown in that span, and he's caught some, 5 for 41, 3 for 34 through the air the past 2 weeks. So that's good. But with Fournette, it's been like, at least Swift has big playability, and Pierce, I think, is the safest of these 3, believe it or not. I'm playing Swift and Pierce. Yeah. Rico, Burrow, Field, Pierce. Okay, Burrow's on bye, so you're playing Fields. Pierce and ETN are in. Hopkins and A.J. Brown and Debo are in. I would put Amon-Ra in your flex. Pitts, Dulcich, Pickens. Nah, this is a good team. If this is just an in general, how does my team look? It's a good team. Maybe you could try to sell high on Justin Fields just because his playoff schedule looks a little dicey. Rock with Burrow. See if you can get another running back for Fields. But this is fine. You've got anchors at wide receiver. You got Pearson. You got anchors at running back with Pearson, ETN. I would try to trade Fields, Rico, for a running back. Maybe Fields and Pitts. Maybe there's your out on Kyle Pitts. Maybe try to trade Fields and Pitts for a good running back after this week, or maybe after the next couple weeks. And then you can just move forward with Burrow. Only because Fields' playoff schedule looks a little dicey. Sean, Palmer or Pittman? Pick one. I'm going Palmer. I don't trust Michael Pittman with Sam Ehlinger. And Palmer got 8 catches last week from Justin Herbert, 106 yards. No Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams. Palmer. I don't trust Pittman as long as Sam Ehlinger is in there. Pittman might get you 7 or 8 points. Palmer should get you 10. Is Josh Allen a must start if he's active? Yes. You have to. You have to. If Allen is in, you can't sit him. Not for Russ, not for Goff, not for Daniel Jones. No, sir. Not at all. You have to play Josh Allen. If you could pivot to Justin Fields, then all right, we might have a conversation here. But even then, this is Josh Allen we're talking about. You've got to start him. If he's out, I would play Daniel Jones because I don't trust Goff on the road, and I still don't trust Russell Wilson on any field anywhere. If he's out, Daniel Jones. But if he's in, he's in. He's your guy. You have to. And Kells, again, Palmer. Not sort of the same thing with Sutton. I don't trust Sutton when Jerry Jeudy is healthy, and Jerry Jeudy is healthy. They were on bye in week 9, but the past 2 weeks, Jeudy popped off. Sutton had like 1 catch and 2 catch performances. Palmer. I'm playing Palmer over Sutton. Yep. And Sean, I think you were asking how your team looks. I don't see your wide receivers, but those running backs look really good. If you can trade, I mean, I don't know who your wide receivers are, but if you need a wide receiver, trade Swift. Rock with McCaffrey, ETN, and Walker. I would trade Swift for a wide receiver if you need it. Herbert or Russ? I guess Herbert, but I don't feel great about either one. I don't feel great about either one, but I guess Herbert. At least I know for a fact that Herbert's injured and is down all of his weapons, but at least he's not cooked. Russ might be cooked. What did you? I know I think he had a decent game against Jacksonville in the London game. Sean, okay. Sean, I would be dangling Swift somewhere. Maybe you have to hope he has a good game tomorrow, but I would be dangling Swift to try to get a wide receiver. Russ did okay against Jacksonville. Looks like he had like 17 or 16 points. Herbert, even in bad situations, is a little bit more consistent than Herbert, Kells. I don't trust Russell Wilson. I think he might be toast. And Chris, how are we looking for tomorrow? You had Foreman and Pitts go, so that's fine. Well, Foreman did good for you. Allen, you have to play. Chubb, top 5 running back. Gabe's tough to trust. Jefferson's a stud. You just got to hope with Pollard that Zeke doesn't go. But I guess, if you have to rely on Pollard, if you know you have no clear better option, you're still feeling okay with the fact that Zeke is a game time call coming out of the bye week. So Pollard should get as much work as he can possibly handle, even with Zeke in there. So you're fine. Gabe is a little dicey, but at least you have Allen. If they connect, then you're in real good shape. The Bucks, you have to fire up the Bucks. You got to fire up the Bucks. But yep, no problem. You're fine. Foreman gave you a good performance on Thursday, so you're good. PPR flex, Adam, Lazard, Gabe, Gibson, Khalil Pickens. Lazard, just go look at his numbers this year. He's killing it. I was not crazy about Lazard coming into this season, and I was wrong to not be in on him. When he's healthy, he's a monster in full PPR. Look at what he's done. Since he came back from I'll just go back to week 9, this past week. 4 catches, 87 and a touch. 6 for 55 on 7 targets. 4 for 76 and a touchdown. 4 for 35 and a touchdown. 6 for 116. 4 for 45 and a touchdown. Only 2 for 13, but he got a touchdown in week 2. He's either giving you 50 yards or a touchdown, and in most games, he's given you both. Lazard. Adam, Lazard. Jimmy G, Kells, over Goff. Goff's on the road. Jimmy G has all his weapons. Jimmy G. Rico, Chris, you got it. No problem. Appreciate the engagement. Appreciate you guys being in here. And yes, Kells, I would run to the wire. Drop Chuba, pick up Rachaad White. Yes, not even a second thought. I don't think Chuba's very good. Rachaad White is good. There's a non-zero chance he takes that backfield over. Maybe it's a slim chance, but it's a non-zero chance. Chuba's not taking that backfield over from Donta Foreman. Yes, go pick up Rachaad White. Oh, sorry, Rico. I missed your trade question. Trade Debo and Justin. Is that Herbert? If you can do it, then fine. I mean, if you can get Tyreek, then fine. Sure. I mean, you're giving up a wide receiver 1, but Justin Herbert is like a low-end QB1, high-end QB2. He's not the top 3 quarterback that he was drafted to be this year. So as long as your quarterback is as long as you have another option at quarterback to pivot to, I'm fine making that trade. I am. I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. And yeah, one more time, Kels, run, don't walk to the wire. Go pick up Rachaad White for Chuba. We are at the end of the chat. So I'm going to be wrapping this up. I appreciate everybody's questions, everybody's engagement today. It was a fun stream. Appreciate everybody's patience. As you guys know or probably already noticed, I was doing this solo today. I didn't have John. He is off this week visiting family. Again, one final time. No stream tomorrow because of the international game, but I will be in our Discord answer if anybody has starts at questions between tomorrow morning and the 1 o'clock slate. I can be available. If you're not in our Discord, third link in the description of this video. It is an evergreen invite. Awesome community, great group of people over there who are always willing to talk shop, always willing to talk fantasy and help talk through questions and just general topics. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate all the supers. Unnecessary, but very much appreciated. Thank you for everybody's engagement. Everybody have a great Saturday night. Again, I'll see you in the Discord tomorrow, or if not, John will be back. The two of us will get you on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern for waiver wire help and any other general fantasy topics you guys want to talk about. Everybody have a good night. Let's get these wins tomorrow.